ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
All you gotta do is put a drink.
Eric Church is back and bringing his unforgettable live show to Sacramento. Eric Church Free the Machine Tour with special guest Charles Wesley Godwin. Golden One Center, November 13th. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com. His new album, Evangeline vs. the Machine, is out now. One epic night of music that you won't want to miss. Eric Church Free the Machine Tour. Live at Golden One Center, November 13th. Get tickets now. For more, visit ericchurch.com. Produced by Messina Touring Group.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Comcast Business, powering possibilities. Well, with second baseman Zach Geloff having spent the entire year on the IL, the A's offseason acquisition of Luis Urias as a free agent has turned out to be a shrewd move. As of the end of the last homestand, Urias had started 20 consecutive games at second base, hitting 4 home runs, including a walk-off against the White Sox, and his OPS almost .830. Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. It's how retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing must-visit shops. And it's how healthcare offices become data-managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business.
Bring the whole family to Sutter Health Park for Sacramento Rivercats baseball. It's more than a game. It's an experience your kids will never forget. Enjoy exciting action on the field, delicious ballpark food, and fun activities for all ages. From meeting Dinger the mascot to running the bases every Sunday, there's something for everyone. Create lasting memories with your family this season. Get your tickets at rivercats.com.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacktown Sports 1140.
Feeding your passion for local sports in the afternoon. It's the Drive Guys with Kevin Gleason and Kyle Draper on your radio at 1140 a.m.
Streaming audio at sacktownsports.com and the Sacktown Sports app.
You can also watch the show on YouTube at Sacktown Sports 1140. Here are the Drive Guys with Kevin Gleason and Kyle Draper.
Well, Kyle Draper on assignment this week, so it's Jay and Whitey. Jay will be here momentarily. Thank you, Kyle Ledbetter, for helping us keep things on track here. This is exciting, Kyle. I know you guys have been talking about it all show long on Alan Styles' show with Kyle Ledbetter. But we're down to the NBA's Final Four, of course. And we have now the fact that we're going to have a 7th NBA champion in 7 years, which has never, ever happened before. It's never happened before in the storied history of the National Basketball Association. It's kind of cool.
I agree, and it goes deeper than that, Whitey. Not only are you going to have 7 different champions in 7 years, this year, no matter what, you're going to have a 6th consecutive different Western Conference champion, and you're going to have 6 different Eastern Conference champions in the last 8 years. The League of Parity is upon us, and not only that, you have 4 teams led by 4 stars, Ant, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Tyrese Halliburton, and Jalen Brunson, who have never been to the finals themselves. They are going to crown a new champion with a new team, and it's going to usher in the next era of the NBA.
I don't know. It's possible that the next era is here, and it's an era of, like you say, somebody different every year. It's funny because for years people complained about that. When the Warriors had their, whatever you want to call it, I don't think it really met the definition of a dynasty, but when they were dominating and won 3 of 4, people said, oh, it's always the Warriors, always the Warriors. Well, now here you go. Is this what you wanted? You got a different team every year. It's a lot of fun. I'll say this about OKC. I don't think anyone should hold the fact that they needed 7 games to beat Denver against them. I don't know how you feel. I've heard some people suggest that, and they advanced. They survived and advanced. And I know Aaron Gordon was hurt. Yeah, he reminded us of that. And, he was a lion, as Jokic said, for playing through his hamstring strain. But I think it's too convenient and too easy to say, wow, they were supposed to roll through this series. They didn't. They just barely won. They won. They're in the Final Four. I don't see anybody beating OKC, Kyle. And I know there's a lot that can happen. I think Minnesota, they were a great matchup against the Lakers. The Lakers just did not match up well with Minnesota. Minnesota with the Warriors after Steph went down, I think they would have beaten them anyway. But once Steph went down, they just kind of cruised through that, and that was probably closer than it should have been. I don't think they're going to be any match for the Thunder.
I tend to agree with you because I picked Oklahoma City to win the championship before the playoffs start.
Mm-hmm.
And
well done by you. We'll see.
As the only member, I didn't get to play this on the show. As the only member of the SAC media scene that told you that Thunder and Timberwolves was going to be the conference finals at the beginning of the playoffs.
Wow. I thought you were going to say beginning of the season.
Okay. I think I would love to. I'll never root for New York teams, but I wouldn't mind seeing the Knicks fans win just to see what they would do, because they are passionate.
Mm-hmm.
They have come out in the last handful of years, and to beat a team like the Pacers, then you got love for the Pacers because you got the connection to Ty Halliburton. You also got the fact of it's a smaller market. It's not one of the biggest markets. Not Miami, Chicago, Dallas, Houston, things, LA, San Francisco, stuff like that. And then at the same time, the entertainment effect. If the Knicks were to win, and we're starting to see it. People that I forgot are Knicks fans. They're coming out. And so the entertainment value, I wouldn't mind seeing the Knicks win as well. And I don't hate this. I can't stand the Yankees. Can't stand the Mets. And I ain't got nothing against the Mets. Definitely dislike the Giants and the Jets. Who cares about the Islanders, even though, I get where you're going. The Islanders, the Rangers, all that good stuff. Yeah,
you're safe there.
Yeah. This team for the Knicks doesn't get under my skin for whatever reason.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. This team seems different.
By the way, this may be good news for Kings fans as you look at the team still playing. Scott Perry had a lot to do with the Knicks being where they are, because he brought in Josh Hart, he brought in Brunson, he brought in Mitchell Robinson. So there's some reasons to say, okay, this guy knows what he's doing. I know Carmichael Dave, that jackal Carmichael Dave, when he came on with us last week, Jay, he said, well, you got a GM here and you got a coach, and let's face it, no one else would hire them. That's one of the things that he said it. I just let it go.
I let it go too.
Yeah. Shouldn't have done that. But when you think about it, first of all, if they're the right hires, it doesn't matter if someone else is going to hire them or not. If you got it right, it doesn't matter how you got it right. But the other thing is, Scott Perry, he's got some skin in the game. He's got some skins on the wall. And I think you can see that when you look at this Knicks roster.
Yeah, he's got a lot to do with it. You can see, as you said, his fingertips are all over this roster. Yeah. And so it's a good thing, but I could care less about that, to be completely honest. I understand what you're saying. It shows the experience. You look in a person's file, you can see, their background check, but I'm just worried about what he does here. But I understand where you're going. You got to know where you came from to know where you're going.
I'm just looking for positive signs too, Jay.
Understandable.
I'm a little desperate for positive signs here, but there are some. And meanwhile, Bobby Jackson is back. What does that mean for the Kings? We're back with that. Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
For 25 award-winning years in Northern California, Ashton and Price is your local injury law firm. Pro attorney tip: if a firm presents as local but they're in LA, red flag. If your first consultation is not with a lawyer, big red flag. At Ashton and Price, your first consult is with a local attorney, and if serious injury prevents travel, a lawyer will come to you. Still not enough? George Washington's my uncle. At Ashton and Price, no red flags, just red, white, and blue.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
San Francisco! What a laser from Brock Purdy, and what a catch.
San Francisco 49ers single game tickets are available now.
Intercepted by Fred Warner. Fred gets up and runs back the other way. One block and he's in. Gonna throw left for the end zone. It's caught by George Kittle.
Secure your seats at 49ers.com/tickets.
Touchdown!
Power Business Technology is proud to be a 100% independent, locally owned and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer since 2021. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Live and local, it's the Drive Guys. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Thanks for being with us today. If you're a 49er fan, even if you're not, you want to hang around at least till 4:30 is when we're going to talk to Rob Stats Guerrera. How about this, Jay? We know about the Purdy news. We're still finding out more details about Brock Purdy's contract. But just this afternoon, moments ago, Adam Schefter broke that Fred Warner and the 49ers have reached agreement on a 3-year, $63 million contract extension.
Lock them up.
Including $56 million in guaranteed money.
That's right. Best linebacker in the game, baby.
Uh-huh. Man, I'm starting to think 16-1 might be a little modest for the 49ers.
I like your thinking. I like where you're going. I wouldn't be opposed to it. If you went out on the ledge, I might follow you.
I'll tell you one thing. Anything close to last year with the schedule they have this year, everybody's going to be gone.
Oh, yeah,
I don't think that's going to happen, though.
Yeah.
We were just talking about the contributions from Scott Perry in where the Knicks are. And, people are mean from the 916 here on the text line. Monty McNair had a lot to do with the Indiana being there, too. Is that how it's going to be already, Jay?
Well, it is. And it's part of it. It's part of it. Until the Kings can get out and win, there's always going to be, cynics.
Yeah.
It's part of the game.
It is. It's
Tyrese ain't won nothing yet.
That's right.
Not to be like that. Hopefully he does win. I got all the love for Ty. But he ain't won nothing.
Yeah. He and Caitlin Clark are good friends because they're both big Indiana stars.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm just going to give you this chance now, Jay, and you don't have to say anything. Do you have anything to say about, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese this weekend? Ooh.
Man. No.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm not
I got you.
Yeah, I'm not the guru of the WNBA.
Yeah, I know. The WNBA is back and people are talking about it. I guess that's good. Just that same narrative as I don't know that it's good for anybody. It's not something to shy away from, but.
Yeah, I don't really know the basis of, I didn't watch the game.
Yeah.
So I can't speak on it, but.
It's just you start with the basketball and you look at it, then the next thing you know, you're talking about things like.
Straight racial.
Yeah. Are we talking about that again?
Right.
Yeah.
It's old when it comes to them, too. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can agree with you. For sure.
Yeah. But maybe from a fan's perspective, maybe the WNBA will come close to helping to fill that void in things to talk about. Let's face it, that used to be baseball. And now people, unless you're a big fan, a lot of people are like, yeah, I don't really like baseball that much. But what's going on in the W? Times are changing, Jay.
Well, I'll say this. This is what I do think. Over the last handful of years, the WNBA and women's basketball has gotten better. It has become more entertaining. And I'm willing to even take a step back and say maybe it's always been this entertaining, but more people, more eyes, more people care about it. It could be that too. I'm not so much as in that pool. But I know a ton of people who are. Draper loves loves. I don't want to put the wrong word out there, but he admires the WNBA. I know
Chris
he's
Watkins
been to
watches a lot.
Definitely,
he has for years. I think even before Caitlin.
There you go. So people enjoy it, and if they do, then I'm all for it.
Yeah,
definitely. But if there is discussion to be had further down the road, I'll say this: if Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese are, as someone said, it said Shaq and Kobe, or Bird and Magic. If they're Bird and Magic and they take this league to another level, which is kind of where it's at, it's gotten a lot better, then I'm all for that as well. But there is something to this point, and this is the discussion we can have, and I don't necessarily know if we need to have it today. I do feel, and I'm going to wait for Draper to have this. So just listen and we'll move on, please, Bobby Jackson. I do feel the WNBA is kind of being forced on me in certain ways. And I'll leave it at that. Let's have that discussion with Drapers here.
Yeah. I mean, they're selling it hard.
They are. They're pushing it hard.
Yeah, and that's
very hard.
As far as the basketball play, you had Angel Reese right before Caitlin Clark fouled her intentionally. She pushed somebody in the back. That's basketball. That doesn't make her like, that's basketball. She pushed somebody in the back to get position. Then Caitlin Clark fouled her intentionally so she couldn't put the shot back
Got
up.
rough.
That's basketball.
Okay.
I'm with Caitlin Clark. She said, I've done that myself in high school. Like, that's what you do. And then Angel Reese kind of, reacted to it. Of course she did. And I appreciated what Caitlin Clark said. She said, let's not make it some it's not. But of course, in the NBA with those two, it's always about more than just what's going on the floor.
Of course.
Yeah.
And it would be that way if it was Durant and LeBron. Absolutely, it would be. If it was such a heated rivalry that dates back to college, and of course it would be that way.
Yeah,
because the leagues are selling it that way.
Right.
Absolutely.
But as you know, I mean, Durant, LeBron's one thing. Caitlin White and Angel African American.
Yeah,
and you got a whole other thing.
Yeah, for sure.
On the one hand, it's like, do we have to talk about it? On the other hand, maybe it's good that we're having more of these conversations, especially now. At least we're, aware of it.
Oh, yeah. No, I think you're spot on when you're talking about having these conversations. These are things that we should be having conversations.
Yeah.
And also having a healthy dialect to the point to where you don't necessarily have to feel some kind of way about it. We all feel a certain way for our history and, to each their own. But this is sports. This is entertainment. And it does cross over the lines of life and community and, so many different other endeavors, so many different avenues of life. But we should be having these conversations, Whitey.
Yeah.
We don't need to run from these conversations. I know we do a decent job here on the Drive Guys of making sure we have these discussions. I just always say, for me, when it comes to Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, I'm not advanced on the basketball discussion. Like you're saying, I didn't even pay attention to that. So I'm not the person to have that discussion, because all I could say is I could veer back to just what we were talking about is the race situation in their past. I didn't watch the game and really didn't have the oomph to or look at the highlights.
Yeah. My wife, well, it's my sister-in-law, my wife's sister, one of her sisters, they were visiting this weekend. We have a family thing in the Bay Area. And Saturday, when we got there and we were talking to him, she's not a big sports fan. She's aware of the 49ers and all the 49er fans in the family. So she'll watch sometimes, but she would never say she's a sports fan. But when I see her and we're talking about how's everybody, and she goes, oh, I was telling my mom, because my mother-in-law's a big sports fan. She said, oh, we were watching WNBA and Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese.
That's great.
And I was like, wow. I mean, it just speaks to the impact and how many people they're reaching now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Somebody here and on the text line says WNBA is more entertaining than the NBA. Maybe to you. I mean, I think there's more people that feel that way now than ever did before. So that's good. We're not going to get a team here. We got our team is probably the Valkyries.
No. That's not our squad.
That's the closest we're going to get to having a team, I think.
Our squad. I'm not claiming that. I'm not claiming that.
So we're not going to have a team then.
Well, you never say never, but I'm not claiming the Valkyries. Those wannabes, they pilt the colors, tried to dim it to make it lavender or some sorts, and then you're going to try to request, this is the Northern California team. No, the hell it ain't.
Right.
That's a Bay Area team.
Right.
And if it was our team, then if it was a Northern California team or, it's like what the Raiders or 49ers would be, didn't have no football team in the Sacramento, so you have to gear towards one of the locals.
Right.
If it was that case, then why they had tons of Warriors players in attendance? Where was my guys? Where was the Sacramento Kings in attendance? So that ain't our team. I ain't claiming that.
Okay. I'm just wondering if some fans are going to gravitate towards that team.
Of course they are.
Around here,
Of course
they'll feel that way. It is it's a little awkward.
Well, I would say meaning in Sacramento.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's going to be a little difficult because you have the sting and the pain from the Monarchs not being here.
Right.
So you kind of have to push that aside internally
I
say, I'm a root for the Valkyries.
Yeah.
I don't think too many Sacramento fans. That's what you're saying.
Well, I'm wondering. I'm curious.
Yeah.
As
I like to hear it.
WNBA grows by leaps and bounds. Are people like, yeah. I mean, you got Morgan doing the games like, hey, I guess I'll root for them. I'm just curious if that'll happen.
Yeah,
I don't anticipate I'll be feeling that way, but maybe some fans will.
I didn't see one Sacramento King player in attendance. And if they were, excuse me, I didn't see anyone post that. I saw tons of folks, Kamingas and Pods and, so many different people shaking hands, kissing babies up on the big screen. If that was truly our squad, some Keon would have been out there.
Maybe he was and they wouldn't let him in. I'm sure they would have let him in. I'm sure you heard this. Bobby Jackson back at Sac. What do you think? That surprised you a little bit, didn't it?
A little bit. Yeah. Bobby, shouts out to B-Jack.
Yeah.
Kings legend. doing his thing, coming back to the house, to the house that he had his hands in and building, put a few screws and nails and laid a little bit of the concrete here in Sacramento. So shouts out to B-Jack getting the job. And I just think it's a good thing. Brother in arms, good coach. Yeah. One thing you know about B-Jack is he really not going to stand for none of that foolishness for too long. I think he's one of those people. Well, I don't think I know. I know he's one of those people that's going to give it to you as straight as possible. Not going to really sugarcoat a lot. And I think this team, this city needs that again. I think we as media, we as fans, we as King's Kingdom need to have honest discussions, just like we're talking about the WNBA, Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. And so I think Bobby's going to be one of those guys to, foresee some of that conversation.
I'll say this, Pete Youngman on X.
Legendary.
He's been a great source on some of the stuff as the Kings have
You've been checking in with Pete?
Always.
Okay.
On X. He says, 2 things I can tell you. This is in response to the hiring of Bobby Jackson. Pete Youngman, 2 things I can tell you. They will be prepared and they will not be outworked.
Right. Now, when you say you're checking in, meaning via social, you haven't been texting him.
I have not.
Oh, okay.
I have not. I leave him alone.
Okay.
I respect Mr. Youngman too much.
It's okay.
Hey,
you got some sources over there, huh?
I follow him is what I mean.
I got you.
On X, of course.
What's your thoughts?
It's definitely a positive thing. A lot of it hinges on how excited Doug is. I take it Doug is glad to have, a coach has got to have a staff that he feels like, here we go. These are my guys. And Doug didn't have that. I know there's going to be more critics. Jay, we've been talking the last few weeks. These guys go, they're bringing back all the old coaches.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really know that holds much water. It doesn't hold any in this case, in my opinion, because Bobby went somewhere else and proved that he's a legitimate coach, not just a local guy that used to play here,
Right.
So I think it's good. Obviously, you don't make the right moves with your players. It really doesn't matter that much.
Very true. Agreed. Yeah, I think you still got to continue bringing more firepower.
Yeah.
To the battle.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. But there is something to be said for, as Doug said, bringing in people to help establish what the Sacramento Kings are about. Doug clearly has a plan, a vision in mind there, and Bobby can only help put that together.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. When we come back, the Brock Purdy deal. Oh, they're still talking about that. We'll tell you what that actually came down to next on Sacktown Sports.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by San Francisco 49ers.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA3 Weather Center. It's going to be windy and warm for the day today, and that'll fuel fire concerns this afternoon. Expect high temperatures in the upper 80s to low 90s and winds gusting occasionally to 30 miles per hour through sunset tonight. You can get the latest forecast on the KCRA3 News and the KCRA3 app.
San Francisco 49ers 2025 single game tickets are now on sale. Join the faithful at Levi Stadium. Secure your seats today at 49ers.com/tickets. That's 49ers.com/tickets.
Skeeter here. Got a question. What's small and dark with white bands on its legs and bites during the day?
Mosquitoes. Hi, I'm Luz Maria Robles, but these are 2 new types of day-biting mosquitoes. They're invading our area and becoming a big problem.
And they can be dangerous.
But we're on it, so when you see them, report it at fightthebite.net. In the meantime, use insect repellent and drain stagnant water around your yard.
We're here to help with these day-biting mosquitoes.
Visit us at fightthebite.net.
Hi, Sacramento. It's the No Surprise guys at Bell Brothers Plumbing and Air Conditioning. Is your AC on the fritz? Call Bell Brothers. Looking to replace your old unit with a 0% financing and no payments for 12 months on approved credit? Call Bell Brothers. We're fast, reliable, and respect your time by showing up when we say we will. The price we quote is the price you pay. We are the No Surprise guys. Call today to get a free estimate on a new HVAC system, or simply schedule your $87 AC Precision tune-up to keep your system running smoothly. With more technicians, more trucks, and more experience, we get the job done right the first time. No surprises. Our technicians are all background checked, drug tested, and will leave the work area cleaner than they found it. Don't wait. Call Bell Brothers today or book online at nosurpriseguys.com. That's nosurpriseguys.com.
Memorial Day savings explode at latest Elk Grove Chevy. Save $12,500 off MSRP after rebates. Every new 2025 Silverado Turbo Max in stock.
Exclusively at MadeUsChevy.com. Now that's big, huge. Together, let's drive.
See dealer for details. Come check out Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room with the most variety of table games in the region.
in a safe and friendly environment. Plenty of well-lit parking available, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. And remember, Capital Casino has the best food, the best service, and the best action. 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com, and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
If your passion is bass fishing, only one radio show has the action, information, and excitement of your favorite outdoor sport. Ultimate Bass, hosted by Tournament Bass Pro and California Outdoor Hall of Famer Kent Brown, takes you live to where the fish are biting every Saturday morning. Only Ultimate Bass feeds your passion with the latest news, products, tips, and advice from the pros. Ultimate Bass with Kent Brown, Saturday mornings at 5 a.m. on Sacktown Sports 1140, part of SEP's Saturday Morning Outdoors.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Granger. Granger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Your afternoon home for Kings talk and so much more. The Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
Yeah, I'll give you a little so much more. And I think Jay's with me, and Kyle Ledbetter's probably with me too. So journalism just won the Preakness, right?
He did.
I don't think there should be load management in horse racing. Nobody cares about horse racing. Some people do. But anytime you have a chance to have a horse win the Triple Crown, you get people talking about the sport. That's good. So anytime a horse wins the Kentucky Derby, it should be mandatory, unless, like a leg fell off or something. You got to run in the Preakness.
I'm with you.
Because then people talk about, Triple Crown.
Right.
So you can't load manage a horse. Well, he had a rough go of it. We're not sure we're going to run him in the Preakness. I won't go any further than that, Jay.
Yeah,
but you got to run your horse. If you win the Derby, you got to run in the Preakness.
Yeah, like you said, unless they're injured,
right?
It's gonna be detrimental to their health.
And even then, Aaron Gordon played with a sore leg yesterday.
Okay.
Right?
He had a grade 2 hamstring issue?
Yes.
Well, maybe we shouldn't allow the horse to run with
Probably
a grade 2 hamstring
Look, I'm not
issue.
blaming the horses at all. It's not their fault. Right? It's like, I won you $1 billion and you gave me a cookie.
Right.
Great deal for the horses.
Slid me an apple. Right. Dangled a carrot. I will say, pure entertainment value, if you are horse racing and the governing body, if I'm with you, you win the Derby, your horse must be in the Preakness.
You owe it to everyone else who's ever been involved in horse racing.
You have to do it unless there's a health issue involved.
Yeah.
Just because it's like, he's a little tired.
Uh-huh.
Well, me too. Me too.
That's right.
I'll leave it at that.
That's right. By the way, one of the saddest things I've ever heard about horse racing, if I have this right, there was a horse, and I think when he was 3, he was not good enough to be in the Derby, but Cigar, you ever heard of Cigar?
Of course. Yeah.
Had a long winning streak. He's a little bit older. And I guess when his winning streak ended, he had this huge winning streak. Every time he ran, they'd give him his hay or whatever. And when he's done, they'd put a cookie in there. So he got to eat a cookie. After his streak ended, they gave him that, and he wouldn't eat his cookie because he didn't win.
Really?
Yeah.
Turn his nose up at
He's
it.
like, nah, I don't want that. Cookies are for winners, and I'm not a winner today, he would have said.
That horse was super intelligent.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
But Sovereignty should have ran. He for sure should.
Yeah.
You've got to. The horse racing, this is they race so much throughout the year, and there's only 3 races that really, the average, not even the average, a sports head really pays attention to.
Bruno in Micaritaville says the horse was probably owned by Popovich.
Spurs? Oh, my God.
Yeah, because of load management.
Load management, Kawhi Leonard, and
you're right. You guys are right. I just hope the horse is okay. I hope he's fine. He'll be fine. He'll be in the Belmont, right? The Belmont, which is like 14 miles
the
or
longest
something.
one, right?
Yeah.
Pimlico.
They just left, and they're going to finish in 2 weeks.
Right.
Yeah.
but he's running that. Sovereignty is running in that.
Okay. All right.
And I had so busy this weekend, I didn't even pay attention to it. And I like to put my eyes on the ponies, but I didn't have time, which was and part of it was because Sovereignty wasn't running.
Right.
Yeah, if Sovereignty was running, I probably would have pushed aside what I had to do and really paid attention.
I would have made a point of trying to watch.
For sure.
Are we still looking at Triple Crown?
Heck of a race too. Did you see it?
I did not.
Oh wow. Should pull it up during the break.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll play it.
Journalism should have won the first race, huh?
Allegedly, but he didn't.
By the way, talking about the Valkyries and Kyle Ledbetter, I didn't realize this, Jay. Thanks for pointing this out. Kyle Ledbetter came to work today wearing purple pants, which he does quite often.
Yeah, that's normal.
He and the Incredible Hulk are the only people I know that wear purple pants, but he does. And then he has the Valkyries purple T-shirt on with the schedule.
The rodeo clowns wear purple pants. Yeah, he's got a Valkyries tee. And I'm always I appreciate the eclectic look that Kyle goes. Be who you are. I appreciate that about Kyle 100%. Kyle is himself no matter what, and shouts out to him. But with that being said, I've never had a problem with Kyle Ledbetter's ever wore in the studios. I've seen him outside of here.
Even when he wore a Mahomes jersey?
I can even overlook that.
Wow.
Because he's just, you know what? He's blinded.
Yeah.
And so are other people who like Mahomes. And that's okay.
Right.
You got to come to the light. You got to come to the light.
It's not entirely his fault.
No, it is not. He's been drinking the Kool-Aid, the Taylor Swift Kool-Aid. But
looks like he spilled it all over his shirt.
But the problem is, we're talking about the Valkyries.
Yeah.
And I'm just playing a little bit that knockoff Sacramento Monarchs team.
Yes.
I don't want the Valkyries to really, Joe Lacob and them to get back at me. I'm just hating on you guys a little bit.
Well, I mean, they took the colors.
And they did. Softened it up, pasteled it, a little bit. Lo and behold, I hit the off button. We're just talking about Valkyries. And Kyle's like, yeah, beautiful shirt. I look at his shirt. It's a Valkyries tee.
I know.
Man, the disrespect Kyle has. And let me also say the disrespect for his friend who bought him that shirt. And if she's listening, disrespectful. And if she's not, I'm going to send her a text. That's disrespectful.
From the 916, I am not rooting for the Valkyries. I was a huge Monarchs fan. SF took advantage of Sacramento Monarchs' success by taking the similarities to the championship team when Sacramento let the moment go. I would bring back the Monarchs with our purple because that's our colors. That's Chris the Mom.
That's right, 100%. Not this little lavender wash they're going with.
Right. How'd they do Friday night there, Kyle?
Took the L, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Expansion team.
Yeah, it happens. It'll bounce back.
Real quick here, Jay. And I spent a little more time than I thought we would talking about cigar and horse racing and the Valkyries, but that's okay. Want to talk about Brock Purdy's contract.
And we got all summer to talk about it.
Right?
Don't worry about it.
Rob Stats Guerrera going to join us today. Here's what it came down to. Strongen, the agent, he told the 49ers that Purdy wanted cash flow and he wanted to make sure that the team was committed to him. Niners got their point across that they weren't going to break records with the contract. So the Niners like, just, this is what we're doing. And then the second time they met, it was established that Purdy's side was not going to do a deal that didn't have strong cash flow, structure, and guarantees, things that would affirm that he was San Francisco's guy for the foreseeable future. Albert Breer has a story, SI.com. So those were the parameters. We are not going to break any records with this. All right, we want structure, guarantees, cash flow. We want to know that Brock's your guy going forward. All right, we got some work to do. But once they established that, they did work forward. It took them a while, but the two sides were dug in only to that extent. And they found some common ground there.
Yeah, none of that is surprising. None of that is outlandish. And to be completely honest, Whitey, I would imagine every agent walks into the office and tells the football organization the same thing. So it doesn't surprise me, especially when we're talking about the quarterback. All quarterbacks. Well, let me take a step back. All football players want guaranteed money because it is the one sport that's not guaranteed out of the big three.
Right.
And so that doesn't surprise me. nothing that I've seen so far from anyone, Pelissero, Garofolo, Rossini, all the usual suspects when it comes to the NFL, they've all kind of reported bits and pieces of these things, and nothing has surprised me, Whitey. Like, everything is okay. It's on up and up. I understand you're putting your money where your mouth is as a football team, and vice versa. And I'm wholeheartedly what Drape said last week. It's on Purdy now, though.
Yep.
Let's be honest. Purdy come out there half-stepping. He about to get called out now.
Yep.
For sure.
Yep. Purdy gets 62% of his money in the first 3 years, which tops the cash flow in most of the richer quarterback contracts done. So that was good for him. He also has that no trade, which the 49ers don't like to give out.
Right.
But when you think about it, it's like, as Mike Florio pointed out, you can't trade a quarterback unless he wants to go somewhere anyway. Teams aren't going to take a quarterback if he's like, I don't want to play for you. So some of that's cosmetic, but it is significant because they don't do that. And then Breer says $181 million injury guarantee is important. The more relevant number is $176 million, the amount that's either fully guaranteed at signing or vests as fully guaranteed a year ahead of time.
Yeah.
Which essentially would deliver a heavy financial penalty to the team for walking away early.
$100 million up front, pretty much is what I've read. He's gonna collect $100 million very quick, and it's really about making up for the money he has missed because he was the last pick and he's performed that deal. So it's really about kind of, hey, listen, we believe in you. Here goes the money up front. Now we want to see you continue to perform. And they didn't overpay. A lot of people feel like it's right where it needed to be. He didn't reset the market, and that's perfectly fine. I'm not so, and I know the Niners don't typically give out no trade clause stuff, but this is the quarterback.
Right.
If it was Fred Warner, then it'd be different. It's Brock Purdy. It's your QB.
Yeah.
So that's just language that I think the agent writes in there to say, hey, listen, we want to make sure we get this money, so you can't trade us. As you said, we want the 170, the 175 or the 181. All done.
Yeah. Cosmetically, if you're Brock's side, it's like, we got a no trade. They don't do that. And the 49ers are probably, to your point, it doesn't matter.
QB.
You can have that.
Stability. Something we've been looking around here for the Sacramento Kings. Right. Stability. Now, after those 3 years, I guess they'll reset, check to see how Purdy did, and the team will go, they'll move forward, how they see fit.
By the way, before we take a break here, speaking of quarterback contracts, do you know what quarterbacks get in $100 million over 3 years? Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, he is. That's right.
Isn't that incredible?
Yep. Sure is.
When you look at what some of these quarterbacks
I was going to say Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. Baker
He got
Mayfield.
a little more. Yeah, Baker did too.
Yeah.
All guaranteed too. It was all guaranteed.
That's a club-friendly deal right
there. It is very much so. Prove it deal.
Yeah.
And all he's done is make it to the playoffs. I give Baker's love.
Shaq, meanwhile, suggesting the NBA lottery's official pasta is rig-a-tony. He didn't say that. It's just my clever way of saying Shaq adding fuel to his fire that this whole thing is rigged. What did he say? Why did he say it? Next, Sacktown Sports.
The Sacktown Sports 1140 newsletter right to your email. Get your latest on the Sacramento Kings, athletics, and Republic FC with the Sacktown Sports 1140 newsletter. Visit SacktownSports.com to join.
For 70 years, we've been known as the Humane Society of the United States. But as the challenges animals face have grown, so have we. We are now called Humane World for Animals. And with you on our side, we are going to end animal cruelty around the globe. Join us. Humane World for Animals. The end of animal cruelty.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Granger who does the same. Granger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Granger. Granger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
For 70 years, we've been known as the Humane Society of the United States. But as the challenges animals face have grown, so have we. We are now called Humane World for Animals. And with you on our side, we are going to end animal cruelty around the globe. Join us. Humane World for Animals. The end of animal cruelty.
Keeping your engines healthy means protecting them in season and out. Experts trust Stable to do that, and third-party testing confirms it. Stable is the industry leader in preventing fuel-related issues, no matter if you use it in your car, boat, or outdoor power equipment. In season or out, at every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Rub your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed a musty smell in your home? I hope not, because damp smells mean that you could have a crawl space problem. That's where Groundworks comes in. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to waterproof your crawl space and get to the root cause of the problem. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
The Memorial Day Race to Savings is on. Get the best deals of the season at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? During the Memorial Day Race to Savings, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our number one priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. It's the Sleep Number Everything Smart Bed sale. Every smart bed and base are on sale during our Memorial Day event. Up to 50% off, plus free home delivery. Limited time. Exclusively to Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
Welcome to Staples.
Hi, I hear Staples prints it all.
Oh, you bet. Posters, banners.
Can you print it all for Father's Day?
Oh, of course. Photo gifts like canvas prints, photo puzzles.
Can you print it all for graduation?
Sure can. Custom cards and invites.
Can you print a huge banner with the grad's picture?
Oh, definitely.
Even an embarrassing baby picture?
Oh, those are the best kind.
I know, right?
Print it all for dads and grads at Staples. And right now, get 40% off custom cards, invites, and photo gifts. N75 exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
The only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
Jay and Waddy today. Drive guys. Kyle Draper off this week. Hope you had a great weekend. Really do. You know, people say, hope you had a great weekend. Hope you had a great weekend. Jay, I got to hang out with the little guy, Kenji, a little bit.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, baby.
He's got some new words he's saying, including ball.
Really?
Yes.
Like it.
Kenji loves any kind of ball. Big ball, little ball. He loves a ball because he knows when you get a ball, what you do is you throw the ball.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm liking what I'm hearing.
Yes. He gets mad because they got a dog and everyone throws the ball for the dog and he wants to do that and his mom's not sure about him playing with the dog yet, you know. And so he gets mad because he gets his ball and he wants to throw. It's like, no, you can't throw your ball for the dog.
Right.
Yeah. And he gets mad. It's like, Mom.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
sound like a running back.
Running
keeping that ball tucked.
Yeah, but he throws with both hands too. So
well,
he's gonna be, what was that? Pat Vendetti, remember him?
Yeah, ambidextrous.
Yeah.
I was gonna say this, but then we were just talking about talking about horses and animals and cruelty and stuff. And I was like, oh, this might not be a great transition. Has Grandpap just been able to kind of tuck that one arm behind the other? Just to kind of, guide him that way yet?
Not yet.
Okay,
And he
all
has
right.
been. I asked his mom. He has started to, when he eats more with his right.
Got
It
tied
looks
a
like
hand
he's
behind
going to
the-
be a right-hander. That's all right. We're hoping for kind of the southpaw.
Right, of
It's the
course,
time for
baby.
that.
Yeah.
When the time comes,
Throw the left hook.
We'll make him a switch hitter.
Atta boy.
Yeah,
Okay.
So we'll see.
Little Eddie Murray style.
Yeah, but he loves a ball. So that was fun. Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah. How about you? Anything stand out this weekend that you care to share with us?
We played the tournament Saturday. Didn't do the best that we normally do.
Really?
Yeah, I was a little off, man. A lot off. Yeah. One thing about
You haven't played much.
I haven't, and that's the problem. I've gotten to the age now, Whitey, where my body has told me you just can't jump out of bed and go hit 800 no more. And you just can't do things that you want to do. And I know people are listening like, Jay, come on, man. Common sense. You got to put in the time. But I hadn't thought about it as much as I have over the last 48 hours. It is now time to really get in shape.
Ooh.
Like I have to if I want to play at the highest level that I possibly can.
Is it worth it?
I don't know. Right now it's more of the love than anything. Yeah, if I'm getting paid or anything else. But yeah, I like to win. I still want to win though too.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't like losing. I don't like not being, taking care of business when people rely on you and you don't come through. That'll make you feel good.
What'd you hit? Probably 690 or something?
Not even, man. I struggled this weekend. Barely 5. I don't even think I hit 500, man. In softball, that's terrible.
Yeah. Probably hitting tough luck.
Well, a couple, man, don't even get me started.
Balls.
Yeah, a couple of them I got robbed and, a few things. But that's part of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Got to find the grass, baby.
Mm-hmm.
And if not, find the dirt hard.
Mm-hmm.
Or find the trees. One of those three things. I just couldn't put it together. I'd hit, get 2-3 hits in a row. Then it's like, 2 of them I'm off. Got robbed a few times, but it happens. That don't mean nothing.
Sounds like when your team loses, you take responsibility for that.
Well, it is part of me.
Yeah.
It's definitely part of me. Got to make the plays, man.
Mm-hmm.
They depend on you, especially when you usually make those plays or you usually, hit 7, 8, 900, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
When you don't do that, people look at you funny.
Nah,
I'm
you just had
I'm just playing.
You had a rough luck weekend.
I did, man, but I don't feel good because I didn't put the time in going into it. I was on vacation, playing around,
Hawaii.
Yeah, I should have came at it a little bit better. I really should have. And it was on me. But that has now caused me, Whitey, to say, if I'm going to continue to play, I need to make sure, and you know this, you've done.
Well, I didn't have the talent you did, so I was one of those guys. I had to do my prep, right? None chance.
Yeah, but you know what? That's not an excuse for me. This the other part, Whitey. When you play in prior to this tournament, our team had played in championships in like the last 3 or 4 times, and we're just this close. As I hold my fingers for people to, the emoji that so people can put it in their mind. We haven't been able to get over the hump to put one in the win column, but we've been so close. Now spin that to the point we didn't do our best. We battled. It wasn't like we was out there getting smoked or nothing, but we didn't make it to the championship this time. And part of that was on me. But now I'm getting to the point where to make sure that we don't have that issue anymore, I got to do my part a little bit better. Yeah, all right. It's tough, man.
Mm-hmm.
And you're playing 5 games and 6 games and 7 games, and your body tells you.
Yeah.
Come about game 4, you're like, yes, I'm done.
It wasn't hot yet. Was it windy? Where I was windy in the Bay Area.
A little bit in the morning, and then in the afternoon, it was, I say it's hot. It's not hot, but it was hot because we're not used to the 79 and 80 yet.
Yeah.
We're going to be looking for that in about 3 weeks, 2 weeks.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. What's getting hot is all this talk of the NBA lottery being rigged. And we've been around it. And one of the things we've been talking about is whether the league needs to address this or if what they're already doing, which is putting the process on social media, online, so you can check it, is that enough? I don't know that it is, because you have some of the biggest names in basketball continuing to suggest that it's rigged. Some of it's tongue-in-cheek, some of it's wink-wink. But some of it, I don't know. We had LeBron on McAfee last week saying, I know what they're doing. How about this from Shaquille O'Neal? Shaquille O'Neal was on a podcast. I would tell you the podcast. I don't know which one it was, and I don't mean to be disrespectful to the podcast. Don't have that information. We don't have the audio on this, do we? Oh, we do. All right, here's Shaq talking about an interesting conversation he had with former Commissioner David Stern. We'll get to that in just a moment. We'll get to that in just a second. Long story short, Shaq says that the commissioner, and we'll hear it in just a minute here, just kind of casually asked him if he would prefer to play in a warm weather city or a cold weather city. Shaq said, yeah, all right, here we go. Here's Shaquille O'Neal.
I don't know if you heard this story, but in 1992, I think the draft was in June or something, I meet Mr. Stern in March. And he says to me, hey, can't wait for you to come to the NBA. Then he pulls me to his side, you want to play where it's cold or where it's hot? He asked me that. Yeah, he did. He asked me that, and I was like, hot. And he smiled, and I smiled, and then a couple of days later, they had the draft thing, and, the top three things, and then Minnesota was number 3. I was like, and then Charlotte was number 2, and then Orlando, Florida was number 1. I was like, I didn't think anything about it, but, you hear a lot of these conspiracy theories, and there's a lot of situations that could make these things sound good and sound true. Like, okay, Dallas gets rid of one of the best players, but we're getting a new one. Ding, 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 ding. So I don't want to use the word conspiracy theory, but it's very interesting.
With that.
I don't know, Jay.
I believe it.
That doesn't even make sense.
I believe it.
I hadn't thought of it, but I just remembered the commissioner asked me if I wanted to play in a warm weather city or cold weather city. And then I ended up in Orlando. I hadn't thought about that until people started talking about that it's rigged. Ding, 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 ding. Maybe it used to be rigged. Maybe it's not anymore. Maybe it used to be. And the previous commissioners
don't do that.
Here, I don't know. I have a hard time believing it, and I'm not going to spend too much time on this because I know people believe what they want to believe, and it's more fun to believe it's rigged. I think this.
Hold on, with your chair over there is rigged. Is Jimmy rigged?
Yeah,
it was on the courtside buzz.
Courtside buzz. Thank you.
No
Thank
clue
you,
of that.
Jay.
Yeah,
it's just that's the type of thing you would remember when you like. Oh, by the way, all this talk of the lottery being rigged reminds me of one time when the commissioner asked me if I wanted to play in a warm weather city or a cold weather city.
I don't know, man. I believe it.
Okay, then.
What's the point of Shaq bringing it to the table?
Well,
because it's
good
hot
content.
Yeah, for the court content. But it's not his. It'd be different if it was his podcast or he's getting paid for it or he was looking for the eyes on it. This is on something called the Courtside Buzz. It used to be NBA Buzz, which I had never heard of, but I don't know. And I would imagine, I don't think this is the first time he's probably said this, but I think it's just hot right now. It's hot it's hot in the news and the media right now.
Yeah, he may believe that happened. I can't imagine that David Stern would be that short-sighted as to like, hey, do you want to play in a warm weather city or a cold weather city? And then just the commissioner think, oh, he's not going to tell anybody. I just have a hard time believing that happened, whether it did or not. Because I know a lot of people are going to believe, oh yeah, I'm buying it 100%. Maybe Shaq in his heart believes it happened. Maybe it happened. Whether it did or not, Jay, does this speak to a need for the NBA to do something to dispel some of this talk?
They have to do something different. And they're not, because people, every handful of years, something of the cat, Cleveland gets to pick with LeBron or, Patrick gets it with New York. There's always something every few years where it's, it's rigged. Something doesn't feel right. And then 2-3 years kind of goes to the wayside, and it kind of pops his head up again. But they definitely need to do something. They won't do anything because they could care less. This brings more attention to it.
Yeah, you may be right. Maybe you're right.
They're not doing that.
If they wanted to, all I'd have to do is do a better job of showing everyone. By the way, this is how it works.
Yeah, what's wrong with doing it in front of everybody again?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it takes too long. I don't know, but it would be very easy to just show everybody. By the way, everyone's here and we haven't started yet. This is how it works, and you're going to see it happen.
Or don't do it anymore. Maybe just, as we've heard people say, it doesn't work anymore.
It doesn't.
It's outlived its time.
Right. And if it starts to become something where people question your credibility because of it, let it go. Yes, move on to something else. We're going to move on to Bobby Jackson, another longtime Kings favorite returns. Can Bobby Jackson, can he make a difference? Next on Sacktown Sports.
So, your small business is outgrowing your garage. You could go online, find a space, and get catfished. Or you could work with an agent who's a realtor, here to guide and help protect you from the surprises you didn't see coming. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. Right by you.
Everyone has a fave Wendy's Frosty flavor. And when you're choosing from chocolate or vanilla, it's not that hard. But now there's all new Frosty Swirls and Frosty Fusions. So try picking your fave from Oreo Brownie Fusion, Pop-Tarts Strawberry Fusion, Strawberry Swirl, Brownie Batter Swirl, Caramel Swirl, and Caramel Crunch Fusion. Not so easy now, huh? For a fresh way to Frosty, gotta be Wendy's.
Participating U.S. Wendy's. Oreo is a trademark of Mondelez International Group. Pop-Tarts is a trademark of Kellogg North America Co. LLC. Used with permission.
Get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic and a MicroGuard Select Oil Filter for just $32.99 at O'Reilly Auto Parts. In-store only. Limit supply.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Alan Stiles here with your Sacktown Sports Injury Update, brought to you by Downtown LA Law Group. TJ McFarland out with that left adductor strain, left game action after covering first base on a ground out. Manager Mark Kotze said an MRI revealed a grade 2 strain and that there will be some time missed. JT Ginn out with that right elbow inflammation will join the A's in San Francisco. Next step is a bullpen, and if all goes well, he will return to the rotation. This injury report was brought to you by Downtown LA Law Group. Hey, I'm Alan Stiles. Have an injury? Call Downtown. Downtown LA Law Group, an injury law firm, has many happy clients in Sacramento and the surrounding areas who have called Downtown. Get paid for your injuries from slip and falls or auto accidents. One of their most recent settlements was $1.5 million for a motorcycle accident. Have you had an auto accident? Call Downtown. Text injury help to 40222. That's injury help to 40222 and visit them at calldowntown.com.
Switch to Comcast Business Mobile and save hundreds a year on your wireless bill. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Restrictions apply. Comcast Business Internet required. Compares 2 unlimited intro lines and lowest price 5G plans of top 3 carriers. Taxes and fees extra. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabytes of usage. Data thresholds may vary.
San Francisco!
What a laser from Brock Purdy, and what a catch.
San Francisco 49ers single game tickets are available now.
Intercepted by Fred Warner. Fred gets up and runs back the other way. One block and he's in. Gonna throw left for the end zone. It's caught by George Kittle.
Secure your seats at 49ers.com/tickets.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sacktown Sports 1140. Live and local, it's the Drive Guys. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Yay. Bobby Jackson is officially back with the Kings. How much of a difference can he make? We're getting into that here in just a second here with the Drive Guys, Jay.
Not official.
And Whitey.
Not official yet.
Oh, it isn't official?
I haven't seen no press release come down the pipe.
Okay. It's not official, but yeah. On the chateau here, we have from Ramsey. Says, I saw the first of Jay's game Saturday morning. The opponent caught every break possible at 8 a.m. Jay's teammates smoked the ball, lined into a double play, and that team wasn't better. So there you go. That's official.
That's true.
Scouting report.
Ramsey's spot on with that.
You agree with all that?
Yeah, 100%. And the cold part is the first team we played, they no disrespect to them. Those are the type of teams we normally put, run rule on type situation. And then the second team we play, and this is sports, Whitey. They're better, they're respected, they're, on a higher caliber. Went out there and smacked them. What happened?
Did you shake hands with the team that beat you after the game?
Oh, yeah, I got love for that because it ain't.
Okay.
This ain't Kings versus Lakers.
Because I know some of the conversations we've had lately, I wasn't sure if you, depending on how you felt.
Oh, no, I don't take softball that serious.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not one of them guys, man. I'm out there to have fun. Yeah.
Spencer Lampkins, my wife, who just learned about the lottery and the conspiracies of it being rigged, says, why couldn't it be fixed? She said it's known that the mob has influenced FIFA for years.
Ooh. Who said that, Spencer who?
Spencer Lampkins.
Shouts out
they
to
didn't
Lampkins.
give the missus' name.
Yeah.
And then Campy says, Spencer, your wife is correct.
Wouldn't put it past it.
Also, we have some love from Campy for the new banner Carmichael Dave introduced a new banner on the show this morning in between the freezing on his show because Manny Too Legit likes the new banner, which if you're watching on YouTube, just a kind of a new look of our YouTube presentation.
That is true. Giving you a different look, little feel.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's up.
That's very nice.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Very nice.
I'm with Spencer Lampkin's wife, though.
Oh, on FIFA?
Well, not on FIFA. FIFA's already been proven to be corrupt at certain points in times, right?
Proven? I don't know.
Well,
I'm not saying I don't know.
They've had some issues legally. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
That lets you know something ain't right.
Okay.
Yeah, they've been taken to task in certain instances. I'm with it. The NBA is just going to get a pass because there's no way to really prove it without someone really stepping out the box and saying, this is what happened. What do those people have to gain by that? So we'll never receive it. And the few people who have done it, they've been tremendously blackballed. They've been almost, you're a joke, you're a fool. Well, they couldn't have been too much because they were in the league for a certain point in time. Tim Donnie, we're talking about you as one of those guys, but it's interesting in the form of.
Well, I mean, he did. I mean, he went to prison.
Yeah.
We know he did something.
Right.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't on him.
Mm-hmm.
The league had something to do with that too.
Well, it didn't have anything to do with the lottery.
No. But what I'm saying is.
No.
What I'm saying to you is this. Everything can be affected.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we get into the high as me, high as mighty, like, oh, that's the NBA, and they could never do that. I don't put nothing past nobody.
I don't know that anybody is that anymore.
Well, some people believe it, though.
Mm-hmm.
Some people believe people can't do any wrong. That's not true. Just not the way the game goes, especially in competition where people are trying to get a one-up.
Sure.
You never know.
Yeah.
And money is involved. How about that?
I don't even know. This is obviously ignorant. I don't know who would, if any body that actually could take action felt the NBA lottery was rigged, would the government do? I don't know. I don't know who it would
Who
be.
cares almost, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Besides fans.
Yeah. But to me, the bottom line here is it's not rigged. Why not? Because I agree with Kyle Draper, who said if there was owners of other teams that thought it was rigged to favor this team or that team, they would not stand for it.
I disagree with
that.
Now
you could say, oh, they're all in it. They're all in on it. It benefits the league. They're all in on it.
Money's money, man.
Mm-hmm.
Money's money.
Yeah, but if you're making money that I could be making, whether we're in the same league or not, I wanted to make that money myself.
Shared revenue changes a lot of things. And this much I know. People have been making deals behind closed doors since the dawn of time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a firm believer. And we talked about horses. We talked about racism. I'm a firm believer that anything can be done. History has shown us that. I'm no fool to walk up in here and think the NBA, NFL, MLB, a league is on the up and up. I just don't believe it.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that they're not. I don't know. We'll see. The bottom line
I'm not
is
saying it happens every day, White.
Yeah, if they have this perception, which obviously is widespread, and it's like I said, even with players, it's kind of tongue in cheek, but the more you push it, you realize people really believe that the league should do something about it, and maybe the best option is just get rid of the lottery. People are still going to think other aspects of it may be fixed, but the lottery is just not helping anything. It's not helping the teams it's supposed to help. It's not helping the league. Maybe it's helping the TV networks, although I can't imagine the TV numbers for the stupid draft lottery are that high.
Maybe. I don't know. Who knows? That's a good point. I didn't pay attention and different look. I do think it's just time to move on. And, one thing I can say on the opposite side of me also saying that I never put nothing past anybody. I'm not out there saying, hey, the league is cheating indefinitely. I'm just saying when I hear people say, hey, something a little strange there. Something ain't really connected. The Legos ain't coming together properly.
Mm-hmm.
I can understand where people come from because, again, look at history. I also believe there are things that people have conspiracy theories on. It's like, okay. It doesn't. No one really benefits from that. When it comes to the lottery, though, it's just past its time. It's due. It's up. It's expired. It's time to move on and let's do something different.
If I had to guess, I have no idea. My guess would be The NBA used to be a little hinky. You go back to the frozen envelope. You go back to Game 6, the Kings and the Lakers, and I think maybe they've learned that at the very least they got to be a lot more careful about it, to the point where whatever they do, if they do any of it now, I think it's very minimal. But I wouldn't be surprised if it, at a time when the league was really desperately trying to gain relevance, maybe there was some of it. Maybe it was just good for business. I don't know.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. You know what else is good for the Kings business is Bobby Jackson coming back. We talked about that earlier. And obviously there's been a lot of stories indicating this was going to happen. How much of a difference can it make? It can solidify the coaching staff. But as we said earlier, as you know, you don't need us to tell you, if the Kings don't make the right moves with the roster, it's really not going to matter whether Bobby sits there, or talks to the players, or talks to Doug Christie or not. But it's a nice little feel-good thing for Kings fans going forward.
Yeah, agreed.
And it's good for Bobby, and it's good for the staff.
Right, absolutely. You got to set a foundation, put something in the ground. Bobby Jackson is a baller, and I think he brings a lot what the Kings need right at the moment, which is, in your face, not really going to bite his tongue. We know what he's, as Pete Youngman, the legendary trainer Pete Youngman says, he's going to bring it every single day, not going to cut no corners.
Yeah, he said 2 things I can tell you: they will be prepared and they will not be outworked.
Yeah, and that's what you need on any squad. And Bobby has done that. We know we've seen the glimpses of him coaching in the G League. Coached that team to the playoffs. I believe the number 1 seed, couldn't finish out the championship though. But Bobby is everything that is right for the Kings. Now it's just a piece of the building to continue to keep pushing that building up as tall as you possibly can be.
Yeah. A lot of NBA players and pro athletes think they're playing hard, and they're not all playing hard. Some guys you can see, it just jumps off the screen or jumps at you if you're there at the game. Like, I've never been the biggest Westbrook fan, Russell Westbrook, but he plays hard.
Super hard.
Bobby Jackson also played hard.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting when you look at what happened when Doug Christie took over as coach. DeMar DeRozan showed the video to the team. Look at what this guy did. If anyone does that with Bobby Jackson, they're going to get the same message. And given that Doug felt it was very important, vitally important, that this team has to play hard. You have to play harder than the other team every night. Everyone wants to do that. This team can't afford to not do that. They're not that talented. Bobby will help set that tone in that regard. But again, it all hinges on who the heck's on the roster.
Yeah, it's part of it. I think you got to have the staff, to lead. And then at the same time, you got to have the ball players. The staff, as Jason Kidd infamously said, I'm not playing. Mm-hmm. I'm watching. Mm-hmm. I'm coaching. Mm-hmm. So absolutely, you can only give them everything, everything that you possibly can when it comes to preparation, getting them in the right places, motivation, all these different things. But you're still not, Bobby's no longer playing. Doug Christie is no longer playing. We need some ballers also. We need some Bobby Jacksons on the floor.
Yeah.
And believe me, it starts with having those guys around the facility, being at the G1C, because the one thing you definitely need to do, and this is something I agree with when it comes to Bobby Jackson and Coach Doug Christie, you got to change the narrative. You have to. You got to change the trajectory of your thought, your preparation, where you're going as an organization. And we know Doug Christie a little different. We know Bobby Jackson a little different, because we've heard them talk, we've seen them play, we know where they're coming from.
It's very interesting that you had Scott Perry talking about accountability, because I didn't know that was such an issue with this team. Maybe it is. Here's the bottom line. The Kings, over the last 2 years, there's been way too much talk about playing hard and not enough actual playing hard.
It's a great point.
Way too much. We got to play hard. We got to out there play hard, and not enough actual playing hard, shutting up and actually playing hard. And Bobby can only help in that regard. When we come back, Jay, the Highway 80 series was tone deaf and insulting. Next, Sacktown Sports.
The Sacktown Sports 1140 newsletter, right to your email. Get your latest on the Sacramento Kings, UC Davis, and Sac State with the Sacktown Sports 1140 newsletter. Visit sacktownsports.com to join.
Skeeter here. Got a question. What's small and dark with white bands on its legs and bites during the day?
Mosquitoes. Hi, I'm Luz Maria Robles, but these are 2 new types of day-biting mosquitoes. They're invading our area and becoming a big problem.
And they can be dangerous.
But we're on it, so when you see them, report it at fightthebite.net. In the meantime, use insect repellent and drain stagnant water around your yard.
We're here to help with these day-biting mosquitoes.
Visit us at fightthebite.net.
Hagen Oaks wants to be your go-to total golf game fitter. Try the TrackMan experience, the very best technology to fit your metalwoods and irons. The new cutting-edge putter fitting studio with its $30,000 worth of technology is ready for your fitting. Hagen Oaks will help you find the best putter for your game. Hagen Oaks offers more technology, more choices, and more service. Schedule your fitting at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio by calling 916-808-2531, 808-2531 for more.
How can you free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business. Smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast so they can focus on strategy and growth. Free up your team and focus on your future. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Sia, and I support Humane World for Animals, formerly called the Humane Society of the United States. Together, we have created a new version of Peter Gabriel's beautiful song, Salisbury Hill, to celebrate Humane World for Animals and everything they do. Enjoy the song and join us in helping Humane World for Animals end animal cruelty.
Only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
I guess congratulations are in order for the Giants and Giants fans. You know, the Giants swept the Athletics over the weekend. At the same time, San Diego was getting swept by the Mariners, and the Dodgers were getting swept by the Angels, believe it or not. But, Jay, this series during rivalry weekend between the A's and the Giants, there were T-shirts that called it the Highway 80 series. There's no Highway 80. It's not called that.
Yeah.
I don't know who came up with that, but that's just tone deaf and insulting. No one calls it that. No one even calls it. No one even calls I-80 Highway 80. That's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. You know. You also had the A's. Well, it was their area code, which is their 510, right? So there was a sign there.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah. 415 Heart 510 that the Giants had up there. Now, I know that there are people in the Giants organization, a lot of them. Some of them played for I don't like FPs with the Giants. He played for the A's. So I know, and John Miller loved the Oakland A's. He used to work for him. So I know there are a lot of people in the Giants organization that wish the A's were still in Oakland. But the organization itself, those making the decisions, they never did anything to help the A's stay in Oakland. They haven't done anything. So then for them as an organization to put that sign out there, like, give me a freaking break, Jay.
Yeah, don't get me started today, Whitey. It's a good Monday.
We're started.
Yeah.
This actually happened. This was insulting.
Yeah, it was. And I get where you're going. I'll let you get on your diatribe. This is the same team that wouldn't allow the A's to have certain parts of the Bay.
Right.
This is the same team who needed help to stay in the Bay.
Right.
And then in return didn't grant the same assistance to the Oakland A's.
Yeah.
This is the same team that has been given a huge landscape of the territory here in Northern California and won't share.
Right.
The bad sportsmanship. I could continue.
Well,
absolutely.
They voted at every turn to support the A's moving to Vegas.
That too. We're not even talking about the voting situation.
At every turn, they voted for it, and then to act like, 415 Hearts 510.
We got love.
Mm-hmm.
Kumbaya.
Right. Did you know that after the game yesterday, and the Giants swept and on the field, that's tremendous.
Nobody care about that, Whitey.
Well, after the game, they played I Left My Heart in San Francisco, which they always do. Do you know what they played after that?
Oh, don't tell me Celebrate.
They did.
Oh, see. This gonna make this. This is why I can't mess with the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
I can't deal with the Giants.
Now,
and
I don't
Giants
know.
fans.
Yeah, was that homage? Were they trying to? Was that like an olive branch to Oakland? Because it was like you were trying to insult Oakland fans,
right?
Yeah, they probably couldn't have been more insulting if they'd tried to be. And then not only that, you've also got this. You got this trumped up rivalry week in baseball, right? You got interleague rivalries, and some of them are not even rivalries. So baseball presents this rivalry week. The Highway 80 series, the A's and the Giants. So they sell it as a rivalry when baseball has done everything within its power to dismantle that rivalry. The rivalry was Oakland, San Francisco. They tried to get rid of that. They've tried to get rid of that at every turn, and yet they still try to sell it as that this weekend.
And the Giants have a part in that.
Yeah, absolutely they do. And
Yeah.
that's disgraceful.
It is 100%
And insulting.
Couldn't say it any better. That's why it just gives me another check next to the Giants. I'm probably about 72 checks deep at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go and check it again for another 73, might even be 173.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you.
Yellow Vision Richardson says Mr. Fab from Oakland threw out the first pitch at the Giants game. LOL.
Did he?
I didn't know that. There was 3 games, not sure which one. But yeah, somebody with the Giants, they were trying, like, let's show Oakland how much we care, and it just had the opposite effect. It was like, nope.
Because
Try again.
If it's me, and I'm not Mr. Fab, Mr. Fab's not me. If you get the call from the Giants and like, hey, yo, Kev, we have a task that we want you to handle. We know you've thrown out a few first pitches, but maybe not this big yet.
Mm-hmm.
First rivalry game.
Yeah.
This weekend here.
Not happening.
You want to come on down and throw that pitch out here in one of in the most overrated ballpark there is in the MLB?
I don't care if it was Buster himself who called me. I think if Buster came to Whitey Woods and said, hey, we need you for something.
You ain't feeling it?
No.
Oh, man.
No.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. So that was very unfortunate. And, you know.
Would you tell them? You'd be like, nah, I'm good.
No,
Can't
not
do
doing it.
Okay.
And I'd tell them why. It's like nothing
Sure.
against you guys, but yeah, this whole thing was wrong. And you guys kind of had a hand in it, you know, when you think about it. How about that?
2 hands.
Can't have it both ways.
Right.
Giants.
Yeah.
You can't.
And I saw the little wimpy banner they put up. I saw that banner. Somebody should tore it down.
There is no Highway 80 series.
No, it's not.
doesn't
And as you
exist.
said, it's the league and the Giants laughing in the A's fans and organization face.
Trying to act like, oh, see how much we care? See how much we care? We play at a celebration by Cool in the Gang. It shows you how much we care. Sure, we could have voted against relocation.
Right.
We didn't do that, but we're playing Cool in the Gang. And we heart you. We heart you.
Giant,
510.
Giants fans, as much as I talk mess about Giants fans, San Francisco Giants fans, they're starting to inch closer to like Laker fan for me.
Really?
They are. Yeah. Because, and Laker fans about the worst fan you can be on my list. Giants fans, and this is the toughest part. I'm not removing your 3 little wimpy championships you got.
My issue's not with the fans, but you go ahead.
But they're part of the organization at this point almost. Because you look around and I saw some Giants fans, sweet, here we come. They're laughing at us.
Mm-hmm.
They're talking mess because they whooping up on us. If you were a quality fan, now we've talked about sportsmanship, and I'll be the first one to say I ain't got to shake everybody's hand, right? But it's a little bigger than sportsmanship. Whitey, would you agree with that? This is a city losing their squad.
Right.
This is something that goes back generations, and you play a part in that. If you were a Giant fan, it's 2 things. If you're a Giant fan and say, man, it's tough, it's difficult. I see what you're going through. We got you on the field, but you know what? We're going to take it easy on you this time around. We'll catch you next time, because right now you're in a sensitive position, a sensitive spot. Then I got love for you. So if you're a Giant fan that's like that, kudos. I salute you. If you're not, forget you.
I have to think, I at least hope there are a lot of Giants fans who would like the A's in Oakland. I have to assume.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh yeah, this was better the way it used to be. I mean, you could see one ballpark from the other, you know?
True.
You could see from
True.
from your favorite ballpark.
What,
or
that overrated ballpark?
You can see that Coliseum at night. Oh, the lights are on. They got a game going on.
I can see it.
Yeah. And now we don't have that anymore for really no good reason. And that's unfortunate. I don't blame fans for that. And, you know, I saw somebody posted today. I don't know who said this. It's true. I don't like to admit it, but the Giants-A's rivalry, the Bay Bridge rivalry, it's over, and the Giants won. Maybe they didn't win on the field.
Finality.
Absolutely.
Ooh, hadn't thought about that.
Total domination.
Hadn't thought about that.
They're there, and they've helped drive the A's out of the Bay Area. It is a total victory for San Francisco.
Dang,
that's
I ain't heard,
unfortunate.
but they won.
Because I think in winning, I think they also lose something.
Yeah,
More valuable than
guess,
they realize.
Yeah, maybe so. You know, somebody said, "How dare you, Jay?" I know. I'm just hating on the Giants. I get it. Just rock with me. I understand where I'm coming from. You know, it's sports here. We're just talking.
Mm-hmm.
It is. You know, I'll push all the me messing around aside. It's never going to be the same. It won't be the same. The closest that it probably will ever be is if they do end up or wind up, meaning the Oakland A's, the Sacramento A's, the West Sacramento A's, the Athletics, the team, if they stay somewhere here in California, Northern California. That's the closest going to be.
Yeah.
Now, unless they, for whatever reason, surprise me, you, and everybody else, Whitey, and they move back to Oakland in some form or fashion, it will never be the same. Absolutely. And if nothing else, as someone said, man, we soft about the situation. Again, just playing, just hating, keeping it a buck. But the fact of the matter is, Giants, the organization, had a hand in what happened with the A's.
Yes.
There's no disputing that.
Just don't act
Giant
like
fan.
you did. That's
yeah, absolutely.
Just don't act like you did. Yeah.
And I got love for Giants fans, even though they're closer to Laker fans than anything. I'll take any heat that anybody want to come with it.
That's the nicest thing you've ever said about Giants fans. It's
pretty
not
close.
very nice, but it's a nice.
I welcome them to the party. 916-339-1140, Whitey.
Mm-hmm.
We can talk about them championships you got after 200 years.
That conversation continues also. Will Knicks Pacers be 4 times as good as Wolves Thunder? That's what the ticket prices say. That's next on Sacktown Sports.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by San Francisco 49ers.
I'm Dirk Fedorn in the KCRA3 Weather Center, and clear skies and a bit of a north wind has been with us. That's going to be tapering off overnight tonight, with temperatures dropping off into the mid to low 50s by tomorrow morning, and then more sunshine and warm weather for your Tuesday. Get the latest forecasts on the KCRA3 News and the KCRA3 app.
San Francisco 49ers 2025 single game tickets are now on sale. Join the faithful at Levi Stadium. Secure your seats today at 49ers.com/tickets. That's 49ers.com/tickets.
Carmichael Dave here for my good friends at American Energy. As a native Sacramentan, I can tell you, not that you need to know, that it might be nice right now, but turn the corner and oh my God, it's so hot. Yeah, you know, summer is coming. And my friends at American Energy want to make sure you are dialed with your AC unit. So how about this? Half off tune-up right now. It's a special going on, just $24.50 to get your air conditioner tuned up. A free diagnostic. And oh, by the way, if you need a new AC unit, up to $3,500 in rebates on qualifying system installations. That's right. They've been serving the greater Sacramento area since 1981. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. Give them a call, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990. Here's the song.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
You drove the miles and your tires are done. Got to shop the best prices under the sun at Big O. Big O Tires.
Shop top brand tires with the lowest tire price guarantee and visit your locally owned Big O Tires. Now through May 26th, get $80 to $120 instant savings on 4 select in-stock Cooper, Nexen, Nitto, or Sumitomo brand tires with installation purchase. Installation required. Disposal fees and shop fees extra where permitted. See store for pricing. Eligibility may vary. Not valid with other offers.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Granger who does the same. Granger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRANGER Click Granger.com or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Are you thinking about buying a new car? Well, maybe you're on the fence. Let me help you out. Kyle Draper here from Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. From the first time I stepped into the MP of Stockton showroom, I knew I made the right choice. I settled on the all-electric EQS SUV. It's comfortable, stylish, and most importantly, it's safe. Mercedes-Benz has the reputation of making the finest cars in the world. Now it's your turn to experience what I already know. Mercedes-Benz of Stockton is the best car buying experience you'll ever have. It's just a short drive down I-5 or anytime at mbfstockton.com.
With 25 award-winning years in Northern California, Ashton and Price is your local injury law firm. Pro attorney tip: if a firm presents as local but they're in LA, red flag. If your first consultation is not with a lawyer, big red flag. At Ashton and Price, your first consult is with a local attorney, and if serious injury prevents travel, a lawyer will come to you. Still not enough? George Washington's my uncle. At Ashton and Price, no red flags, just red, white, and blue.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
Stay up to date on Sacramento sports. Join the Sacktown Sports 1140 newsletter. Visit sacktownsports.com.
Live and local, it's the Drive Guys. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Nice, Jay. According to reports, Bobby Jackson is going to be coming back to the Kings as an assistant coach. One of the things fans loved about him is he played so hard. Fans, seeing how much money players make, they're less tolerant than ever of a player who is perceived as not giving their all. Jay, I was wondering if you saw Juan Soto last night. Juan Soto's getting ripped by Mets fans. You know, he's making, what, $765 million? A
lot of change.
1 for 10 with just 2 runs scored over the weekend against his former team. Last night, 2-2, top of the 8th. Soto hits a shot up the middle. DJ LeMahieu backhands, makes a fine play, and then throws him out from one knee. If you look at the replay, Soto hits the ball up the middle, takes about 3 halting steps out of the box, watches LeMahieu. Oh, he's got it. Then he runs to first, and he's out. And a lot of fans are furious that Soto didn't bust it out of the box.
Of course they
furious.
Are. They always are.
Mm-hmm.
They always are. But I get it. You know, we look at the sum of the amount of money that a player is making. And, you know, I'm the first one to always say, just look around. You know, gas $5 now for 87.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough because you put yourself into, you know, you're looking at the game as entertainment, but you also still are surrounded by life. And it just seems that most people look at the dollar sign that the player is making and saying, listen, they're not going all out for it, especially when you're getting up every single day and working hard for your dollar too. So I get it. I understand it. I understand why people want more.
Watching it, I think he thought LeMahieu caught the ball. I think he thought he hit a line drive and the guy caught it. So it's like, you're not going to run the first if the guy catches the ball, right?
Yeah,
so
St. Little League. Don't run through the bag. You got to run through the bag, Whitey.
Yeah, but he did not endear himself to Mets fans.
Nah.
Yeah.
Early on too. Man, this is a lifelong, a career-long relationship here. Mm-hmm. And they're already on rocky terms.
Mm-hmm. Wow, I think you saw this. This guy that says, you guys are so bleeping soft.
Yeah, that's a Giant
Holy
fan.
bleep.
Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I double back with a San Francisco anthem, because if you're calling me soft for calling you out, I'm just saying somebody else doctor's cotton.
Yeah. What did Shaq say? Ding, ding, ding.
Right.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Javi's on hold. Javi, you're on with the Drive Guys. What's going on today?
How you doing, Mr. Gleason, Mr. J? Was going to make a basketball comment, but, I mean, after hearing the last segment, like, you know, I'm no disrespect, Mr. J, but those aren't 3 Mickey Mouse championships. We were the most dominant team.
That's Minnie Mouse, man. Minnie Mouse, man.
Hey, in the day, you guys haven't been relevant in 30 years. You ain't made a World Series in 30 years. So
and y'all hadn't been relevant for 200 prior to that.
But that's not true. They just sound good on the radio. That's not at all relevant to the reality of the situation. But if you guys want to say that, I mean, we've dominated the Bay Area with regards to sales and popularity. But the A's to say they're mad about the Giants having a hand in their relocation, then be mad at every other owner and every other organization.
Yes,
that come in.
we are.
I am.
They are.
I am, Javi. You're right.
But have that energy for the guy, the nucleus and the heart of that, and that is your lackluster, if not even a proficient owner, whatever you guys.
We have that too, Javi.
Right.
Yeah, you're saying everything we both have.
We agree again.
Right. Ding, ding, ding.
But don't discredit our championships because you guys are upset that you guys can get your way. Like, it's not our fault.
Okay, first of all, Javier, first of all, big time. If you want to approach the conversation, we can have it. First of all, I was sitting here playing. No problem with that. But if you're going to try to jump on air and try to jump on the fact that you act like the Giants have been all world beating for the last, you've seen 3 championships in your life, big time. Prior to that, go ask your grandfather. Go ask your grandmother. Go ask your mother. Go ask your father, your parental guardian. No one was seeing championships, champ. So stay on that point. I'll give you your 3. I'll give you your Connor Brooks through the Wickets championship. Shouts out to you, big man. I'll give you your 3. But beyond that, you wasn't sniffing one prior to that. And on top of that, when we saw each other, guess who got their head bashed in '89? That would be you, sir. But with that also being said, it's okay. No problem. The Giants had a hand in the fact that the A's had to move. We understand that. Every single day I talk about John Fisher, I can't stand him. I'm a lifelong Oakland A's fan who has not been to a game here in Sacramento while I'm born and raised at, champ. So what does that tell you? I got no love for my same organization. But you still have that same, like you said, you still have that same energy for the same fact that you needed us, but you didn't want to return that favor. How about that? How about when you came and asked for the A's to give you some love, a helping hand and assistance? We gave you that. You didn't return the favor. What?
I don't know what helping hand the Giants needed, but I mean, I know the stadium in 1996 is good.
Well, then we can't have a conversation if you don't even know the point of your own organization.
The problem, Javi,
you were leaving.
In 1996, the Giants put the organization at the threshold of their own organization.
You were leaving. The Giants were leaving, Javi.
Yeah,
they were leaving. Come on, it's all paperwork, brother.
Yeah,
they were leaving,
and it's just you're right.
Stop it, man.
All of the teams have a hand in this.
So 32 years later, the Giants, from even the change in ownership or change of the overall infrastructure of the organization, should be then pronounced of, well, we should help. John Fisher was going to do whatever he needed to do and was going to do no matter what you guys wanted, preferred.
Agreed.
Find every way to stay out of
Agreed that.
Javi, here's the thing.
He's going to say no.
Javi, you can't, as an organization, you didn't do this, fans didn't do this.
Right.
I don't have a problem with fans, me personally, but the organization to vote yes on the move. And all the owners did that. I don't think anyone voted against it. To do that, and then this weekend, for the organization, not you and not everyone in the organization. I know there's announcers there that love the Oakland A's. For them to trot this out like, oh, we love Oakland, it's disingenuous, and it was insulting.
Let's make this relative to Sacramento. I'm not saying that their ownership was right for voting in favor of the relocation, but look at the owner in the NBA in Sacramento that's looked as a cartoon character, and why the other NBA owners don't respect it, because he goes against the grain, does things that don't make any rational sense.
That's not even what we're talking
I'm just going to
about.
go with whatever. I know, but the Giants
personally,
the Giants voted just how everybody else voted because they didn't want to stir the pot. That's what I'm saying. They just went with what everybody else went. The owner that we have here in Sacramento does everything against the grain, and that's why the Kings are what they are in the league, and that's a laughing stock. And I'm a Kings fan, but that's factual. And that's nothing that's discrediting what the Giants are doing. They just didn't want to stir the pot and make everybody feel like, oh, you're going against what everybody else, their 28 owners wanted to do. It wasn't like they said, oh, well, we want them to leave.
Thank you. Thanks, Javi. So
I'm
basically,
invested,
well, it's okay for the Giants to vote for the A's to relocate because of Vivek.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but I get it. It's awkward for Giants fans. Again, I keep saying.
See what happened, man?
Giants fans, I don't have an issue with Giants fans. But
see, that's
the organization. You can't defend the organization on this,
right?
In my opinion, it's like, no, they're clearly being hypocritical here. It happens in sports. I know it happens a lot. In business, it happens. It clearly happened this weekend, and I didn't like it.
Absolutely. And you can say, and Javier can dislike the fact that I talk about Giants fans or their championships or the organization.
Yeah.
That's part of it. That's about having fun.
Yeah.
As I always say, I'm always hating on the Giants. I don't care if you win 100 championships in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Common sense in sports, I'm going to find something to talk about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Them seagulls barreling down when I come in there and try to watch a ball game, Whitey. You know, I'm uncomfortable.
Did you ever see the video? And it was kind of cool. I'm not saying that the place is a dump or anything like that.
Sure.
It's not a dump. But the Arizona Diamondbacks had a meeting on the mound, and a chicken finger fell from the sky.
I didn't see that.
Oh, I'll have to find that because, a seagull was flying over and dropped it. And so they're having this meeting on the mound with the relief pitcher or the guys coming in, whatever it was. And then you see this chicken finger, boom, because of those seagulls. It's a really nice park. And I'm glad the Giants stayed. Oracle.
Oh, come on. Why you
remember
that park is overrated?
I've never been a Giants fan, but I'm happy that they stayed.
Of course.
They were this close to leaving.
They were on their way out.
They were gone.
And
they were the St. Petersburg Giants, and I'm
Yes.
glad they're not.
Absolutely, of course.
Yes.
Then we wouldn't care because look what's going on with Tampa. And I laugh, and the fact of my favorite team has left their ballpark. They will never be the same.
Right.
And as an A's fan, I'm torn, and they're right here in my backyard. And this is the reason someone just said. Also, Giants fans just showed why they are like Laker fans. That's part of it. That's my whole thing with Giants fans. You're jumping on me, but don't know your history. That the Giants were out of here. And guess who saved you? Guess who was part of saving you? Because we don't know who saved you.
Right.
We're not speaking in matter of facts here, Whitey. I'll tell Javier from the jump. I'm not getting paid from the Giants, not getting paid from the A's. I ain't play for the A's. I ain't play for the Giants. So when it's all said and done, I ain't got a horse in the race. You know what I mean? Just like sovereignty pulled out of the Preakness, I'm pulling out of this.
Right.
But the load management, baby. But the fact of the matter is the Giants picked up the phone and said, "We need your help, A's. We need your help." And the A's gave them the help.
I don't even know if they asked the A's. I think A's ownership, Mr. Haas, just said, you know what,
we got love for you.
Because we like it being a two-team market.
Yes.
But the whole thing is with the Giants, you vote this way, do whatever. Just don't pretend like, oh, we missed the A's so much. That was my issue with the weekend. Not with Giants fans, not with the way the games went, but for the Giants organization to act like, we really missed the A's in Oakland when you had a hand in pushing them out. You can't have it both ways.
That shows the character of what's going on down there in that overrated ballpark. And that's why I continuously keep saying, Whitey, and please separate yourself from me. You said it. You don't have an issue with the Giants fans. I do. I have issues with Giant fans because I
noticed that.
Yeah, you have people.
Deeper. They're getting deeper and deeper.
You come on and you want to get at me, but you don't know the history of what's popping off. And then at the same time, again, Whitey, let me give them congratulations right now. You got 3 championships. Shouts out to Lincecum. Shouts out to Mad Bum. Shouts out to Vogelsong and whoever else was down there. Sergio Romo.
Yeah.
All of them
Pat
people.
Burrell.
Got nothing against anyone. Zero. Zilch. But man, your fans, they starting to turn up like Laker fans.
Sergio Romo.
Shouts out to Romo. He does a great job as an analyst, by the way.
Does he?
Have you had an opportunity to see him? Might have to get him on the show.
Probably have.
Yeah, man. Romo's doing fantastic. I really like what he brings. And I liked when he pitched as well. Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll get to the ticket prices. Knicks Pacers going to cost you a little more than Wolves Thunder. Also, if this is a clue to what Giannis wants to do, it's not good news for Kings fans. Next on Sacktown Sports.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
If you've got a gas-powered engine, keep it running like new at every fill-up. Stable in-season protection is your engine's preventative medicine, cleaning and protecting the entire fuel system in season. In outdoor power equipment, prevent gum and varnish buildup that could cause a rough or non-running engine. For cars and trucks, increase fuel efficiency and power by removing deposits, ensuring your engine's long-term health. Stable outperforms the competition in independent lab testing. So at every fill-up, start with Stable.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With a Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was going to unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Advanced Infusion Center, where we prioritize your comfort and well-being. Whether you're managing a chronic condition or seeking specialized IV therapy, our state-of-the-art center offers tailored solutions to meet your needs. Advanced Infusion Center's dedicated healthcare professionals are here to ensure your safety and provide personalized care. Conveniently located in Sacramento and Yuba City with flexible scheduling options. Experience a new standard in infusion therapy. Visit Advanced Infusion Center today at advancedinfusion.com.
The Memorial Day Race to Savings is on. Get the best deals of the season at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? During the Memorial Day Race to Savings, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Trey Songz, live. All the hits, all in one night. Trey Songz. Friday, June 20th, the venue at Thunder Valley. With special guest Jeremiah. For tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com and see the show. Trey Songz, Friday, June 20th, the venue at Thunder Valley.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
I have a new favorite Giants player, Wilmer Flores, who just destroyed the A's on Friday. And you could see that matchup coming. JP Sears against Wilmer Flores. You could see that coming. 3 home runs. And after the game, Wilmer was talking about the game and the crowd. And, we always have a big crowd for Oakland. And someone said, wait, did you just say Oakland? And Wilmer Flores put his head down and he said, it's always going to be Oakland to me. Bless you, Wilmer Flores. So Drive Guys here.
Shots out.
Yeah, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Should we talk to Matt here?
Sure, why not?
Matt, you're on Jay and Whitey. What's going on?
Fellas, what's going on?
Hey, thanks for calling. What can we do for you?
Hey, no problem. Hey, I just wanted to call. Jay makes a lot of good points when it comes to the Giants and the A's. I've been a lifelong Giant
Prices. Game 1, Indiana at New York, $703. Get-in prices. Game 1, Minnesota at OKC, $160. Okay, it's a whole Godin thing. It's the Knicks.
It's the Mecca.
The Knicks. Finally, they're back. They're back. I understand that. I still think it's ridiculous because I think Minnesota OKC has a chance to be a great series too. By the way, OKC is going to win the whole thing. OKC is going to win.
You know what I'm taking?
You're taking Minnesota.
I'm taking the Knicks.
Are you?
I think the Knicks going to win it.
Why?
Yeah, I just think them boys are them young guns over there. They showing improving unless they get tired because they play heavy minutes and Tibbs doesn't mind it.
Yeah,
I like what they're bringing to the table. They're standing up. They have a little attitude. Yeah,
they do have that.
I like it.
They do have that. And by the way, this could be a clue as to what Giannis is thinking. Maybe not. He has been showering Steph Curry with praise on social media, talking about he's the greatest point guard and he's one of the greatest players of all time. That may mean nothing, but they have the same agent. And Windhorst last week was saying the Warriors can't really compete for Giannis. They couldn't make the best offer. But if Giannis were to say, which he hasn't yet, if he were to say, I want to go there, then the Bucks might be compelled to work something out with Golden State. So hopefully this is nothing more than a guy saying nice things about somebody that he likes. But if this is an indication where Giannis wants to go, I don't know, Jay. I don't like that. The Kings, with everything they got going on, I don't need to see Giannis slide into the Chase Center. Don't want to see that.
Yeah, no.
We don't need that.
No. That's a shot in the arm. Maybe even a shot in the heart for Warriors fans. If they to get Giannis, that just puts them, that makes them relevant again for the next 5 or 6 years. No doubt about it. I definitely don't want to see that.
All right, stay tuned. Coming up next, where the Kings rank in terms of NBA offseason spending power. Do they have any? They do. That's next, Sacktown Sports.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com. Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Hey, it's Mike Rohn. If I have a choice, I like to do business with companies that actually stand for something. That's why I switched from Verizon to Pure Talk. No offense to Verizon, I'm sure they stand for something. I just don't know what it is. Pure Talk, on the other hand, is a veteran-owned company that supports our military in a big way, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I also appreciate unlimited talk and text and plenty of data for half the cost of the big guys, and I do like being on America's most dependable 5G network for just $20 a month. But what I really appreciate is no contract, no cancellation fees, and Pure Talk's commitment to handle all their customer service in this country. I saw it for myself. I went to Georgia, I got a tour of their headquarters, I met their CEO, and I talked to the same customer service folks that you'll talk to when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Switch today and save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Pure Talk, a wireless company that actually stands for something.
All you gotta do is put a drink.
Eric Church is back and bringing his unforgettable live show to Sacramento. Eric Church, Free the Machine Tour. With special guest, Charles Wesley Godwin. Golden One Center, November 13th. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com. His new album, Evangeline vs. the Machine, is out now. One epic night of music that you won't want to miss. Eric Church, Free the Machine Tour. Live at Golden One Center, November 13th. Get tickets now. For more, visit ericchurch.com. Produced by Messina Touring Group.
Alan Stiles here with your Sacktown Sports Injury Update, brought to you by Downtown LA Law Group. TJ McFarland out with that left adductor strain, left game action after covering first base on a ground out. Manager Mark Kotze said an MRI revealed a grade 2 strain and that there will be some time missed. JT Ginn, out with that right elbow inflammation, will join the A's in San Francisco. Next step is a bullpen, and if all goes well, he will return to the rotation. This injury report was brought to you by Downtown LA Law Group. Hey, I'm Alan Stiles. Have an injury? Call Downtown. Downtown LA Law Group, an injury law firm, has many happy clients in Sacramento and the surrounding areas who have called Downtown. Get paid for your injuries from slip and falls or auto accidents. One of their most recent settlements was $1.5 million for a motorcycle accident. Have you had an auto accident? Call Downtown. Text injury help to 40222. That's injury help to 40222 and visit them at calldowntown.com.
San Francisco!
What a laser from Brock Purdy, and what a catch.
San Francisco 49ers single game tickets are available now.
Intercepted by Fred Warner. Fred gets up and runs back the other way. One block and he's in. Gonna throw left for the end zone. It's caught by George Kittle.
Secure your seats at 49ers.com/tickets.
Touchdown!
KHTK HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacktown Sports, 1140.
Yeah, baby.
Your afternoon home for Kings Talk and so much more. The Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
Listen, I know we've had a few issues here and there with the YouTube. Thanks for hanging with us. I think we've got it fixed now. Did I get you? Anyway, I can't resist. I think we've got it fixed now. So thanks for hanging in there with us as we work out a few bugs.
Yeah, thank you.
Rob's Stats Guerrera's going to join us bottom of the hour with the latest on not just the Brock Purdy contract and what that means for the 49ers, but the Fred Warner extension. Ooh, how about that, Jay? Big money for Fred Warner.
Love it. Deserves it. Earned it. You know, played on a injured ankle last year, played through it. We could definitely tell his, play kind of slipped off a little bit, wasn't on the Fred Warner level that we've come to know.
Mm-hmm.
And then we found out a little further down the line that he was playing with a broken ankle, fractured ankle. And so, young man is bald ever since he's put on the 49er uniform. Fred Warner's done his thing. And, for my money, and I get it, I'm a 49ers fan. He is the best linebacker in the league. And I'll take an argument, but for me, he's the best linebacker in the league, and he deserves that money.
Mm-hmm. I'm aware that there's a good chance I'm getting carried away just by saying this, but our buddy Bonte posted something earlier today. I am coming around to this way of thinking. He said the 49ers may be underrated.
I saw that a little bit, Whitey. And I think it's really because of you've seen a lot of the names that we've come to know, and they've walked out the door. And I've said this before, and I think we're going to continue to have these conversations. The names have left, but a lot of the talent was already there.
Yeah.
They just haven't been given here goes the key for you to start at corner.
Mm-hmm.
Now we know. There's no question about it. Last year, it's like, if that guy's healthy, he's probably going to get the start in front of you, Ronaldo Green, someone like that. But no, it's your turn now. And so they are going to be overlooked because we've seen some of the national pundits say, I don't really see them doing too much.
Yeah. If the young players, the players they just drafted, if the refresh through the draft on the defensive end takes and works, I think they're going to be very good. I'm also concerned, Jay, we won't wander too far down this path, about the kicking situation. Get that resolved, right? You don't want to be going through that this year like, Moody missed 3 kicks. What do you do? Get that resolved here. Make sure either he's on track. And I know he was hurt last year.
Yeah.
And he wasn't the same after he sprained his ankle. Or is it Greg Joseph? Get somebody in there that you can count on.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
We got spoiled by Robbie Gould.
Yeah, we did. We definitely did. It's a competition. So hopefully the right person wins the competition. we could put the kicking issues to bed.
Yeah.
So that's all I can hope for when it comes to that. You know, I haven't been down on Jake Moody as most 49er fans, and I'm not defending Jake Moody by any means. But yeah, something's got to change, and we need it to be as close as good as it possibly can be for sure.
Yeah,
you're right, 100%.
Bottom of the hour, Rob Stats Guerrero, one of the best 49er info personalities around. He'll be joining us bottom of the hour. Real quick check of the Kings, because we're anxiously awaiting word of the Kings doing something other than adding to the coaching staff. The Bobby Jackson news, while not official, obviously is that's kind of a feel good. But what can the Kings do? What kind of options are available? We're not going to talk so much about specific players here as just what they have cash-wise. The Athletic with a piece today on what money exceptions each team has at its disposal. So you got cap space. That's Brooklyn, Detroit, Memphis. Teams with a full non-taxpayer MLE, and this is not going to take long. Don't worry. Hopefully I won't lose you here. Full non-taxpayer MLE mid-level exception. Spurs, Charlotte, Wizards, Jazz, Hawks, and Kings. So the Kings have the full non-taxpayer MLE, which looks like it's about $14.1 million. So they're setting up fairly nicely. This was a conversation, Jay, that I thought you and I were getting into with Dave last week, and Dave took it another way, which is his right, and I should have anticipated it as he started talking about ownership. But I think if you just look at the assets they have available to them, they're in decent to pretty good shape. This is an example of it, and here's what the Athletic says about the Kings situation. A whirlwind series of transactions in the offseason and deadline left the Kings $20 million or so below the tax threshold. That figure does not include pending free agents like Trey Lyles and Jake LaRavia. Scott Perry likely has to choose between the non-taxpayer MLE or retaining free agents. So if it came to that, where do you think you would be? LaRavia, by the way, as we know, it's a difficult situation because you could only offer him like $5.1 million because of the way Memphis handled him. So you couldn't spend a lot on him if you wanted. Is it time to move on from Trey Lyles? Time to look into the free agent market, or are you bringing those guys back and hoping you can trade into the draft again? How are you going to make this team better?
Yeah, no disrespect to anybody. For me, if you're mentioning those two names, I'm doing anything I can with LaRavia, and that, as you said, that's mentioning the almost $6 million deal. And I've seen and heard people talk about maybe it can kind of be a, prove it contract, or
it's got to be a wink, a
deal, and we got you next year. Yeah. And that, to me, that just lets me know LaRavia has to want to be here.
Yes,
that's what it comes down to.
Really want to be here.
Yeah. So I'm offering that to LaRavia, and you're hoping, you're praying, you're wishing, you're on your knees, you're hoping that he comes back. I'll keep it there. When it comes to everybody else, I want to see what the first move of Scott Perry is before I move on. Trey Lyles and guys like that. I think Keon definitely is in the fold for this team. They'll be vying to bring Keon back. I think that's a no-brainer, common sense. After that, who knows? Coin flip. That, for me, that's all that matters right now.
Yeah.
I like to see the move of Scott Perry.
I think Trey Lyles has played well for the most part because they got him for Bagley, right? I mean, that's who you ended up with the second pick. And he had his moments last year. I think it'd be nice if you had a little more length there, but I don't really have an issue with bringing him back. I do want to get younger. I think what it's going to come down to is they'll make one deal, big deal, maybe like, I think they'd love to move to DeRozan, assuming he wants to go, in order to upgrade with youth, get back into the draft. I think that's pretty much what they're going to do. They don't have a lot of flexibility other than that, and I don't think they want, no matter what Dave says, and no matter what a lot of fans say, and I respect a ton of fans around here, like, tear it down. I don't think they're going to do that, and I don't think they want to do that.
I don't think they're going to tear it down. I think we would have known by now. You'd see names and picks flashing, and we would hear whispers that Scott Perry would come in and is like, "Hey, we're bargaining.
Right.
We're open for business."
Yeah.
It's the tough part is this, and this is I find it difficult, and I feel like Draper in this position. I like Trey Lyles. I like what he brings to the table.
Yeah, I do too.
You have some people who are, and we've seen this last week when we were kind of having this conversation. let them run it back a little bit, change a few different things, of course, because it's a new year, but let them get their feet under them and let them play together and then see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
You have that kind of party. Then on the opposite thing, you're like you said with Carmichael Dave, tear it all down, get whatever you can. And then you kind of have the middle, which is, I believe, where you're at, closer to the middle. Just rebuild, move a few pieces, get a little younger, do certain things. I'm with you. I'm in the middle. And if we're in the middle, I set the bar for, then Trey Lyles really has no room on this roster because I need to see something different.
Yeah.
And it's tough.
I need to get younger at some point and longer.
Right.
Yeah.
It's nothing against Trey Lyles.
Not at all.
At zero. No disrespect to Trey Lyles at all.
He may get offered more than I could afford to pay him anyway.
And hopefully he does.
Uh-huh.
I hope he gets his money. But I need to see something different in a lot of the places that I haven't, that needs to get better. And it's, for me, I'd rather see something different for I can assess what I believe are the building blocks of this team.
I think Trey Lyles is a really good piece. If I had a team that I think in the next couple years I can go for it.
Ready made.
I don't think I can. I think by the time I get my house in order where I can really make a run at it, I don't know that he's going to be useful to me anymore. So I think it's a good time, potentially, depending on what I can do and how I can, replace him. I think it's a good time to move off of him, especially if he has, greener pastures somewhere else. Speaking of trades, Jay, I'd appreciate your advice on this from the 510. This is 510 Frank. Whitey.
Shouts out.
I can trade you, speaking of trades, a Modesto A's Joe Morgan bobblehead for the Keon Stockton Kings bobbleheads that we got.
Okay.
The Keon Ellis Stockton Kings bobble that we got there.
Joe Morgan bobblehead from the Modesto A's for the Keon.
That sounds like a nice piece.
Yeah. I think you might want to take that number down.
Think about it. Think about it, 510 Frank, because I like Keon.
I may
one too,
yeah.
huh?
Now, if you're not interested, come talk to me, Mr. Gleason. Shouts out to the 510. Modesto Nuts, Stockton Ports, great value. Whitey, I haven't been to Stockton Ports game ever.
Yeah, I've only been to the stadium then when we were at the.
I've never been to it. I need to get out there. I need to go check a game out. You want to go?
Yes.
I might grab a pair of tickets or so.
I do.
See if you want to pull up, man.
Yeah.
I think we might have to get out there. It looked like a great atmosphere the 3 or 4 times that I went to the Stockton Kings game this past year.
Banner Island Ballpark.
Yes, sir. You got it, my brother. And one of them, I believe it was a high school game playing.
Yeah.
Was that the day we went?
I think it might have been because I thought it was like a minor league thing. I was looking, it's like, man, these guys are really young.
Yeah.
Oh, they're high school.
Yeah. But I one of the other games I went to, I wound up going to 3 games. So one of the other games they were already playing. I was like, man, it's a nice little atmosphere. Parking lot is jumping.
Mm-hmm.
I can see this.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. And
yes,
I'm a sucker for a good baseball game.
Me too.
We got to get out there.
All right. We got to get out there and we got to get back to Jake LaRavia. I'd love to keep Jake, but it's going to be hard for the Kings to do it. We'll look at Trey Lyles as well. And we got Rob Stats Guerrera, bottom of the hour with the Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
Whitey here for Napoleon Grills, reminding you that when buying a new grill, every detail matters. While supplies last, you'll receive a $149 gift with purchase on every new Napoleon Prestige stainless steel grill. The kit even includes a pizza lover starter kit and much more. And now up to $79 off Napoleon Rogue models. Napoleon grills are built different, built better, built to last with a lifetime warranty and premium steel that boasts amazing quality. Visit Green Acres Nursery today for your best selection of Napoleon grills and accessories.
Whoa, it's you, the Capital One Bank guy.
That's what they call me.
Mind if I get a selfie?
Yeah, sure thing. Say no fees or minimums on your Capital One checking account.
Wow, that's a keeper. So, where are you heading?
I'm off to spread the good news that Capital One helps people keep more money in their wallet with no overdraft fees.
Oh, you're the best Capital One Bank guy.
Hey, mind if I get a selfie?
Sure.
Say, Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Granger. Granger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
This Memorial Day, grab the keys to a new ride during Toyota's Summer Starts Here sales event. Right now, get a low-cost lease on the 2025 Prius. Sleek, efficient, and with impressive MPG, it's perfect for long weekend road trips or the daily hustle and bustle. Or shop great deals on 17 Toyota hybrid models from the longest-lasting brand on the road. Plus, every new Toyota comes with Toyota Care, a 2-year complimentary scheduled maintenance plan. Toyota's Summer Starts Here sales event ends soon. Toyota, let's go places. Offer available through TFS to buyers with premium rated credit. Offers end 6/2/25.
Yeah, I think so. NBA coaching note. This is from our friend Evan Sittery. He says Chris Quinn, Heat lead assistant, made a very strong impression during his interview for the Suns head coaching vacancy. Quinn made the next round of Phoenix's coaching candidates. He's has learned under Eric Spoelstra in Miami since 2014. Also, as you may have seen in wake of Denver's loss to OKC in Game 7 of their playoff series, a lot of love from Denver players for David Adelman. So it'd be a surprise if he doesn't get that job. And then the Kings coaching news, of course, looks like Bobby Jackson is going to join Doug Christie's staff, although that's not official yet. Also on the text line, as far as the Kings go, from the 916, we're just talking about where the Kings go from here. And the Athletic says Scott Perry may have to choose between using the non-taxpayer MLE or keeping his free agents, which include Jake LaRavia and Trey Lyles. From the 916, Trey Lyles does play with that give everything, but I would like to see younger.
I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
Trey Lyles is pretty solid, but
yeah,
I'd like
for sure.
to think you could do younger, better, higher ceiling.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and to get better, you have to think out the box and think a little different. And I believe it would say 916.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think that's what the 916 is doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm with that.
As far as Jake LaRavia goes, Jay, and I know we just touched on this a few moments ago. The more I think about it, the harder time I see the Kings being able to do it. Bottom line, Jake LaRavia finished the year with the Kings, and they got him from Memphis. Memphis did not extend his contract. So Sacramento is prohibited from offering him a starting salary greater than $5.163 million as a free agent. But any other team could exceed that figure. The Kings, because he was not granted his extension, given an extension by Memphis, the most they can offer him next year is $5.16 million. They cannot offer him more. Other teams, including Memphis, could offer him more. The team that traded him and said, oh, we should have extended him, they could offer him more. So as you said, unless he loves it here, it's hard to imagine him not getting offered a lot more money by another team.
Yeah. And Jake has got to say, this is where I see myself for the future. It's over with, but I'll never say never, because I think going into the summer last year, we all thought there's no way Malik's coming back.
Mm-hmm.
For $17 million. He's going to get 20. Some people talk about 22, 24. Orlando's coming to hunt. Denver's coming to hunt. And Mr. Monk is here. The King of Kings is sitting right here in Sacramento. So
I like that.
I'm not going to put it past that it won't happen, but it's highly unlikely, I think, unless Jake wants to be here.
Yeah.
It's just where it's at.
Yeah. So the Kings would have to say, look, this is the most we can offer you next year. We will offer you that. That's the most we can, but we will make make it up to you after that with the contract. And then, obviously he has to hope he didn't get hurt, or, I don't know what kind of guarantees you're allowed to give a player under those circumstances.
I don't believe it's anything you could say, we're going to give you a deal to give you this deal. That's against the, player association, things like that. So I'm not the legalities of it. I'm not sure. Now I'm trying to think of correct me if I'm wrong. I can't think of any contract that ever like, hey, listen, we're going to give you this, and the next deal we're going to give you that. I think that just goes against the bargain. Yeah,
I don't believe you're allowed to do that.
Collective bargaining
officially.
Agreement.
Yeah. You can tell his agent, this is what we'll do for you. But even then, he would have to love it here so much that he'd have to say, man, you got all these moving parts. You've got a new GM, and the coach I really liked, and I don't know what's going to happen with the roster, right? None of us do, but I want to stay. So I'll commit to you for $5.1 million this year because I know you're headed in the right direction. It's not impossible, but to me, it just seems far-fetched.
Well, that's the other thing. And we need to gauge what Jake LaRavia's market is. And I thought going into last year's free agency, I had a better handle on what the market was for Malik. But boy, was I wrong. Because after he signed here in Sacramento, and we don't know the true details of every single deal that was offered, you look around, there weren't that many $20 million deals that we thought Malik was going to be bombarded with.
Mm-hmm.
And so Jake, no doubt about it, has talent. He's going to bring something to the table. He is coming off an oft-injured season.
Yeah.
He didn't play a lot of games this past year for Memphis and Sacramento. And part of that was, Sacramento's trying to find their footing. And of course, he was injured. But I think if he was there, they would have loved to play him a little more. So I'm not discouraging the market for Jake LaRavia. I'm just saying his talent tells us it's going to be more than 5.1. But we know that sometimes it don't always play out that part. So maybe, who knows? It would be great for the Kings. It wouldn't be great for the person in Jake if he didn't have a bigger market. But I'm hoping he stays here for whatever reason that is.
Yeah. Here's this is from lastwordonsports.com. It's about the Nuggets. A few 3-and-D forwards that would be a fit for the Nuggets are Gershon Yabusele, Jake LaRavia, Chris Boucher. It's possible that each of them will be too expensive for the Nuggets. So there's other teams that are looking at him already. He was solid as a bench player. You look at his numbers, they don't jump off the page, but he was solid. He did all the things the Kings want him to do. And they just have such a glaring need for semi-legitimate 3-and-D guys that he stands out on the rosters like, oh, we need more like him. But there's going to be other teams that look at that and go, yeah, that guy can help us. So fingers crossed. I'll be really surprised if he stays. Hope he will.
I said it last year, Malik Monk.
You're right.
I did. I truly thought Malik was on his way out of here.
I was with you on that.
So I'm not sure how the cookie crumbles. Jake is definitely worth more than $5 million. And I'm probably saying that. And they're over at the G1C like, Jay, why did be quiet? Be quiet. Don't say that. Don't say that out loud. Shh. Jake is a baller. I like Jake. I like Jake's attitude. I've said it since the beginning of when he first came here. I was at the press conference. I was like, man, I like his style. I like where he's coming with it. I'm not here to answer no questions, man. I'm just here to play ball. That's what he said. I like that. And I like what he brought to the table. I thought as he got his footing under him as the season progressed, after coming in from Memphis and learned a little bit. And, one of the things you talked about, he was like, look, we were just out there balling. He called a play. I didn't even know where I was supposed to go.
I think that was that loss to the Clippers where they lost the lead in L.A. And down the stretch. And he said, yeah, we ran some stuff. We were supposed to run some stuff. We didn't run it right. And that's because I didn't know the plays.
I didn't even know where I was going.
Yeah.
I'm just hooping.
Yeah.
I'm just out here touching the basketball on the floor.
Which also says a lot about his character because not everyone's going to say, I didn't know what we were doing.
Very true. Very true. I'm a fan. I would like to, and I'm a fan who is interested in seeing him reach a capability, being healthy and seeing what he could produce. I'm not sure what he is, but I'm interested in what he can be. So I'm hoping the Kings can get something done, but we'll see.
Yeah. Also, when you look at, I know he doesn't play center, but you look at the center position, assuming Domas stays, and I saw that his camp is coming back in August, and I don't know if that means anything, Jay, but I started to think, if he's getting traded, I don't know if he'd be running his camp again, but I don't know.
Reading the tea leaves.
But if he stays and you still have Giannis, and Giannis is like, I love playing behind Domas. That's not
necessarily like a championship front court, but that's one of the better situations in the NBA. Don't you think? Seriously, Domas and Jonas, JV.
Yeah.
And I'm making sure I'm not looking through the purple glasses or anything.
For sure.
That's a pretty good center combination.
I like it. I love it. Yep.
So again, to me, that speaks to if I have that, I don't know that I want to tear it down. But it all depends on how I build up around those guys.
Now, are you saying that as far as from Jake's standpoint, or
no? I was just
okay.
It's kind of just looking at the roster.
Okay.
It really doesn't have anything to do with Jake directly, but just looking at my assets going forward.
Okay,
like,
I got you.
That's a pretty good combo, right?
Yeah, it is absolutely
Mm-hmm.
for sure. JV's a starting center in this league, no doubt about it.
And he says, "I love backing up Domas. I told them I'm fine." We'll talk more about that coming up as well. But up next, Rob Stats Guerrera with the latest. We got new details on Brock Purdy's contract, Fred Warner's extension. What does it all mean? We'll find out next. Drive Guys, Jay Whitey, Sacktown Sports.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Fidium Fiber.
I'm Dirk Fedorn in the KCRA3 Weather Center, and clear skies and a bit of a north wind has been with us. That's going to be tapering off overnight tonight, with temperatures dropping off into the mid to low 50s by tomorrow morning, and then more sunshine and warm weather for your Tuesday. Get the latest forecasts on the KCRA3 News and the KCRA3 app.
It's about time they
fix that pothole.
Invented better windshield wipers.
Made an internet that just works. Fidium Fiber Internet, starting at only $30 a month. It feels like Fidium. Offer available to residential customers only. Terms and conditions apply. See Fidium.com for details.
Carmichael Dave here for my good friends at American Energy. As a native Sacramentan, I can tell you, not that you need to know, that it might be nice right now, but turn the corner and oh my God, it's so hot. Yeah, you know, summer is coming. And my friends at American Energy want to make sure you are dialed with your AC unit. So how about this? Half off tune-up right now. It's a special going on, just $24.50. Get your air conditioner tuned up, a free diagnostic. And oh, by the way, if you need a new AC unit, up to $3,500 in rebates on qualifying system installations. That's right. They've been serving the greater Sacramento area since 1981. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. Give them a call, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990. Here's the song.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
With so many ways to warm up before golf, a group of university researchers tried to cut through the clutter. 24 low handicap players were split into groups. The first group was instructed to hit 9 shots in a row with 4 different clubs at set targets. The second group also hit 36 shots, but in a random order. Maybe 1 shot with a driver, 1 with a 7-iron, another with a wedge, and so on. Then all the golfers from both groups hit 9 test shots that simulated the kind of shots they'd hit on the course. Results found that the group who practiced with randomized shots performed better than the first group. Well, that's one study, but it's probably important to note that rather than hit a bunch of shots with 3 clubs, you might be better off hitting different clubs to different distances. You'll have practice shots to different targets with different clubs, presumably just like you'll do on the golf course. Give it a try. What do you have to lose except a few shots on your scorecard? That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
The Memorial Day Race to Savings is on. Get the best deals of the season at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Looking to own or lease? During the Memorial Day Race to Savings, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our number one priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Saving for retirement was tough enough for us.
Yes, and navigating markets can be challenging at times.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we take a disciplined approach with your investments.
Tell us more about that.
We take an active approach to money management, positioning your portfolio for opportunities we see ahead.
So all your clients get the same portfolio?
No, we tailor your portfolio to your individual goals and needs.
What about communication? We don't like being left in the dark.
We check in regularly to keep you informed on the markets and your portfolio.
Which means you'll help us stay on track.
Yes, our goal is your comfortable retirement. And as a fiduciary, we always put your interests first, because we do better when you do better. At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Get your afternoon home for Kings talk and so much more. The Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
Jay, I've had this conversation before. Everyone has podcasts now, and I'm not complaining about it. I think it's great that anyone who wants to, you can start a podcast right now if you don't have one already.
Yes, sir.
And people wonder, well, what can I talk about on a podcast that people would care about? And my advice is start a 49er podcast.
You've said it before.
Because people love to hear about the 49ers. There are a lot of podcasts out there. Some are really good. Some are not, but that's okay. Maybe they'll get better. Well, our next guest, he's the best of all the 49er podcastinalities, right? There's a lot of podcastinalities and personalities on the podcast.
Yes. Say that again, podcastinalities.
The premier 49er podcastinality.
I like that.
No question. He runs the gold standard 49ers podcast network. Rob Stats Guerrero with us. How are you today, Rob?
Oh, that's quite the introduction. Thank you.
Yeah. Is that the first time you've been called a podcastinality?
Definitely, without question, but I like it.
I have a question for you about all, the Brock Purdy conversation, and people have this ongoing debate about Purdy, how good he is, and how do they pay him this money. So my question is, Rob, why are people so stupid when it comes to football?
I don't know. I think that if Brock Purdy was a first-round draft pick, nobody would have any problem. It wouldn't even be a question whether he was going to get a contract and what he should be paid. Nobody would care.
Yeah.
But because he was the last pick in the draft, they can't get it out of their head, right? He can't be this good. He just can't be. They don't want to accept the reality of the situation. But the reality of the situation is he's a very good quarterback, and he deserves this money. And maybe he had a little bit of a down year last year, but he's not the first quarterback to see his performance suffer when the team around him also falls apart.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't get why people don't want to let it go, but it's been a while since he was drafted. You gotta just come to grips with that, man.
It has.
Yeah, it's definitely something that people are, for whatever reason, Stats, it's just people cannot admit that he is a good quarterback, I guess, because he is dead last, and it just kills the pundits, the national media, for the situation. I've seen you talk about it as far as where it's landed, money-wise, year-wise, respectability-wise. What's the overall take on Purdy's deal?
I think it was a good deal for both sides, right? I think that Brock Purdy did not want to squeeze every dollar that he could have squeezed out of the 49ers, because I think he definitely could have gotten more. He didn't want to do that, and the 49ers were more than happy to say, great, you don't want to reset the market? That's fantastic, because neither do we. So instead, they get him for $53 million a year. It's right around seventh when you look at average per year among all quarterbacks. And he's certainly in a group of people that he absolutely has an argument that he should be paid more than. But everybody was happy to do this deal. It wasn't about where Brock Purdy falls on the list of quarterbacks. It was about getting him money that he was comfortable with, and the 49ers are more than happy to have their quarterback locked up now for the next 5 years.
Mm-hmm. And Stats, how about the Fred Warner news today?
Another great signing by the 49ers. They are rewarding their leaders. You think of the leaders of this team, you think of the quarterback, obviously. You think of George Kittle, who got a new contract earlier this offseason. And you think of Fred Warner, who just got paid, and he's now, once again, the highest paid middle linebacker in all of football. Smart moves by the 49ers. They've had their issues getting new contracts with people. We remember the Debo situation dragging out, the Brandon Ayuk situation, the Trent Williams situation twice. The Nick Bosa situation where he signed 2 days before the regular season began. This wasn't that. The 49ers, whether it was their own doing or whether they got lucky with the players not wanting to push it, but they got these deals done, and now it's all about football for the Niners.
Stats, one of the things, and we don't talk about kickers here on this show, but one of the other questions.
We spent 10 minutes on it earlier, Jay, but I'm with you.
That was your fault then, Whitey.
It was.
One of the conversations coming into this season is someone next to Fred Warner, and we know, his co-part has moved on, and hopefully he will be healthy and be able to play, but who is the next in line? I believe the 49ers wanted to be D winners. Seems like D hasn't been able to stay healthy himself. Who do you think sits next to Fred?
Yeah, that's the problem, is that everybody kind of thought like, oh, it'll be D winners now. But Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch were both asked about that. And both of them said, well, we'll see. We're going to draft some people. Like, they're telling you they're not really all in on the D Winters situation. And he has got to get his body to a place where he can finish games. I mean, I can hardly remember a series that D Winters played in that he didn't leave the field because he was hurt for part of it. Like, you can't have that if you're the 49ers. That's part of the reason they drafted Nick Martin. I think Nick Martin has a legitimate shot to start this year for the 49ers because they're telling you they are not all in on D Winters. So we're going to see how that plays out. It's one of many rookies that have a real chance to win a starting job in training camp.
That's Rob Stats Guerrera. So to that point, Stats, for all the focus on Purdy's contract, isn't the real question whether the defensive refresh works or not this year?
1,000%. That is the biggest question facing the 49ers. They were a turnstile against the run at the end of the year last year. Everybody was running all over them. That is not how this defense was built. It is not how they're designed to play. They're designed to stop the run. They're designed to get a lead with their offense, and then they're designed to let that front four eat while you try and come back by passing the ball. Well, they couldn't stop a nosebleed last year, so that did not happen, and that's why they lost 11 games. This year, they are hoping that Michael Williams and C.J. West and Alfred Collins can stabilize that defensive line. They can set the edge, which they could not do at all last year, and get back to beating teams that way with domination along the line of scrimmage. And we won't know if they can actually do it until we see these guys out on the field.
That's one of the things that I think you do a great job is, and, lack of a better term, people always talk about keep it real, keeping it real. I like to keep it real. I think that's one of the things you do great is you don't put on the 49ers blinders and you don't see everything that they do and every move that they make as, sent down from God himself. What's the one that you've seen this offseason that made you kind of scratch your head and say, I don't know where they're going with that one?
Bringing back Kyle Juszczyk, especially because they cut him. They cut him in the offseason. They said, no thanks. We don't want to invest this much money in a fullback. And then they signed him back a couple of days later and guaranteed an extra year on his contract that he didn't have guaranteed before he got cut. So it was just a really bizarre situation. I don't understand that. I always describe a fullback like heated seats in a car. If you got the extra money, great, go for the heated seats. But if you have any money problems at all, that's the first thing to go. You're going to have a cold rear end in the wintertime. I'm sorry, you deal with it. But the Niners saw fit to bring him back, so Kyle Juszczyk is back in the fold, but I still don't understand that one.
Do you think that, I know some people are starting to say this, and I've been starting to feel it myself. Maybe it's just, the fan in me talking here, but do the Niners potentially take more of an underdog vibe into this season than they have in many years?
Oh, 100%. They are absolutely the hunter and instead of being the hunted this year. There's no question about it. Mm-hmm. There are other teams in the NFC that clearly have better rosters, that clearly have, aspirations of getting to the NFC Championship game and beyond. 49ers can certainly do that, but I think their attitude has to be get in the playoffs, and anything can happen. Because we've seen Kyle Shanahan coach it up in the playoffs. This team has a cakewalk of a schedule this year. They don't face any teams coming off a bye. They have a rest advantage when it comes to days of rest versus their opponents, which is something they have not had in recent years. They play 2 difficult games outside of the division in Tampa Bay and Houston. Other than that, it's a who's who of mid-teams. So the runway is there for the Niners to get to the playoffs, and if they can do that, they can go as far as anybody.
Stats, I'm detecting in your voice, man. It's not Super Bowl or bust this year. This could be I guess, inside the building for the 49ers. Is it not Super Bowl or bust for their squad?
Well, they're always going to say that's their goal, but I think they also are realistic. They know that this team is in a state of transition. They're replacing 8 starters this offseason, but they know that they're just not in the same place that they have been in recent years. They could still do it, like I said, but it would be much more of kind of like a New York Giants Super Bowl with Eli Manning when they won those, where you're kind of like, are they really going to do this? And then they just keep winning and eventually win the championship. So they can do it, but they are not, to me, in my mind, a favorite by any stretch of the imagination, even to come out of the NFC.
Stats, I apologize for this question because I know it's something you've talked about, but I wasn't able to watch the whole pod. But I wanted to ask you what the heck is going on as far as potentially a new 49er logo?
Oh, yeah. That's the weirdest situation I've ever seen. So, first of all, they're going to have an alternate jersey this year because they're part of the new rivalry series that Nike's doing with 2 divisions. They're all getting alternate jerseys. Okay. But then also the 49ers announced on their website that I don't even know, they're calling it like a brand refresh. It doesn't make any sense to me because it seems like a new logo, but they haven't announced any changes to the jerseys or the helmets or anything. So it's really weird what's going on.
We'll just have to keep an eye on it.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's how there's a twofold question before we let you go on my end. One is this: 6-11 doesn't look good, of course, for Shanahan and John Lynch. You're telling me that as much as they're going to tell me a Super Bowl or bust, there's a transition maybe that's happening here or is happening for the 49ers. Any form or fashion. Let's just say this team goes 8-9, 9-8. They don't make it to the playoffs. Any form or fashion, Kyle Shanahan begins to feel some heat.
Oh, absolutely. And he absolutely should. That would be, 5 losing seasons for Kyle Shanahan in 9 years. And I know that the non-losing seasons are really good, obviously, with the NFC Championship games and the Super Bowl appearances. But you can't just wipe away the bad. You got to count everything. So another losing season this year, and that seat would get absolutely hot.
Ooh.
All right. Listen, if you're a 49er fan, you probably already know this. But if by chance you don't, you got to check out the Gold Standard 49ers Podcast Network and Rob Stats Guerrera. Rob, thank you so much for your time. We look forward to talking to you again here soon, hopefully, as the new season gets closer and closer and closer. Pretty soon they'll be playing football, Rob. Can you believe it?
16 Sundays away, baby. Bring it on.
Nice. Thanks, Stats. We appreciate it.
Thanks.
He's pretty optimistic, Jay. Yeah, I understand why you asked him whether it's Super Bowl or bust for the 49ers, because he said, you got to get into the playoffs, then we'll see. Dang. But, yeah, this is kind of a whole different approach rather than, the 49ers coming in, the monolithic team that should dominate the league. This might be, if they're any good, it's going to be fun. If they're not, of course, that's never fun.
Yeah, just don't let Draper hear some of this stuff, because Draper is going to keep us as if we're all high and mighty. Mm-hmm. You got Christian McCaffrey, you got CMC, you got the great Brock Purdy. So he's not going to take anything.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm going to have to cut that clip, send it to him just so he knows what he's walking into this season. Because if not, Draper's going to hold our feet to the fire as if this is 3 years ago.
Yeah. The funniest thing to me about Drapes and his relationship with 49er fans, and I'm exaggerating, but it's like 49er fans are stupid and they're arrogant. Call me up and tell me I'm wrong. They won't call. Well, I wonder why they won't call. I wonder why they don't want to talk to you.
I won't talk to you.
Yeah, you called them arrogant. All right, when we come right back, the A's limping home after a lost weekend, Jay. There's no way around that. Where do they go from here, and who's coming into town next? Sacktown Sports.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Elk Grove Honda.
I'm Dirk Verdorn in the KCRA 3 Weather Center, and clear skies and a bit of a north wind has been with us. That's going to be tapering off overnight tonight, with temperatures dropping off into the mid to low 50s by tomorrow morning, and then more sunshine and warm weather for your Tuesday. Get the latest forecasts on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
Memorial Day celebration comes early at Elk Grove Honda. See, test drive, and purchase your brand new Elk Grove Honda at attractive prices right now. Visit Elk Grove Honda in the Elk Grove Auto Mall. We have the right Honda at the right price.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your boat, boat wins.
What are you gonna do? Take the boat out for a spin or go mail something? Boat wins! Are we cleaning the patio or taking the boat out fishing? Boat wins! Are we skipping that eye exam to go sailing?
Boat wins! Rescheduling eye exams can be a nightmare.
All right, fine. Eye exam, then boat.
Yeah!
With Progressive, you can bundle your boat with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings on your boat. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states and situations.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small, loud or quiet. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love, guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Now more than ever,
Lowe's knows you don't just want a low price, you want the lowest price. And with our lowest price guarantee, you can count on us for competitive prices on all your home improvement projects. If you find a qualifying lower price somewhere else on the same item, we'll match it. Lowe's, we help, you save. Price match applies the same item. Current price at qualifying retailers. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how we'll match price at lowes.com/lowest price guarantee.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. So let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27 and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Is your concrete sinking? Whether it's your driveway, sidewalk, or patio, those uneven surfaces are not just ugly, they're dangerous. That's where Groundworks comes in. They use state-of-the-art concrete lifting solutions to prevent tripping hazards, and they're the best at what they do. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com. Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
This is the story.
The only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
Jay, are you playing Oleander?
Yes, sir.
Oleander from Sacramento, California.
Yes, sir.
I know them boys.
Okay.
Yeah, fine lads all.
You had a time to rock out with them or what?
No,
I heard you strum that
don't
thing a
think I
little
ever
bit.
actually performed with them.
Okay.
But yeah, those yeah, I remember when they hit it big. Wonderful guys, Tommy and the lads.
Ooh, might have to get them on.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing. I heard that they fairly recently, were going to put out something new.
Really?
Sacramento's own Oleander. We just played a commercial. You played a commercial. I think it was the Capital One commercial, and they mentioned tiramisu. It reminded me of this, Jay. I looked this up.
Okay.
This year at Yankee games, you can get a Yankee helmet with tiramisu.
What?
Tiramisu, which is it's espresso, mascarpone cream, ladyfinger cookies, and cocoa powder.
Yeah, it's all right.
Did you ever get a tiramisu? Yeah,
at a ball game though.
To me, there's so many better things you could put in that helmet than tiramisu.
Yeah. I mean, you better off just putting whipped cream in it and let me get at it. Yeah.
I think at Padre games you could get banana pudding with vanilla wafers.
Really?
In the little helmet.
I missed that.
Mm-hmm.
Let me look that up. I might have to fly down to San Diego just for that. I'm a huge banana pudding guy.
And Giants, let's see, Giants and Pirates have 98-ounce popcorn bats at home games, and it's a plastic bat,
right?
And that you take the handle off, I guess, and you fill it with popcorn, and then you can get free
what kind
refills.
of popcorn?
Just a regular
butter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Probably not as good as the popcorn at the Golden One Center.
No,
it's the best popcorn in the land.
Yeah, that thing's going crazy. Yeah, love it. I had no clue that the Padres are giving out banana pudding helmets.
I believe they are. I have to double check.
Have you partook?
No, it's new, and I haven't been down there in a long time. So, yeah, those are, of course, the crazy items they have every year With the new baseball season upon us, a lot of it, I think, is just, I don't even know if they serve it. They just try to get people to go, oh, let's go see if they have any. And then, well, I'll have a hot dog. I don't know.
Tiramisu in a helmet doesn't seem like real inviting. It's not really not for me.
Tiramisu doesn't belong in a helmet. Let's be honest. Right?
That's probably true. It's not the type of dessert that you see in a helmet.
Mm-hmm. Part of a creative and Instagram-worthy treat presentation. Yeah, that's the other thing. You buy it and then you post it on social media. Meanwhile, I'm trying to find ways to put off the inevitable, which is talking about what happened to the Las Vegas A's of West Sacramento this weekend. Jay, I know we had some discussions about everything going on with the relocation, but as far as the baseball itself, the A's got swept this weekend. They have been struggling of late, having dropped 2 or 3 to the Yankees, 2 or 3 to the Dodgers, and then swept by the Dodgers. They're back home tonight, though, against the Angels. I don't think there's going to be anybody there.
Give me a guesstimate.
Well, who knows what they'll actually say. And I'm not making fun of Sacramento fans or their efforts to keep teams, the team here, but, they haven't drawn that well as it is. And then for the Angels,
just swept the Dodgers now.
Yeah, I know they did. I know. 7?
Going 7K?
And it'll probably officially, they'll list it as at least 9. I don't know. And, I'd love for it to be full. What do I care? But
right.
It's going to be tougher sledding now for them to draw when a lot of the high-profile teams have already come through, and with the team now struggling, and maybe they can turn it around. They're under 500 now. I think, if anything, the attendance is probably just going to go down. As we've said, that probably is not as important as other factors. If we want to keep a team, at some point, Sacramento has to come up with a stadium plan. If you have that, that's probably more important than how many people showed up when the Rangers were here. That said, I think they're going to have a hard time drawing the rest of the year.
Yeah, you may be right. It definitely doesn't help if you're the ball team. And this is something that we talked about, many A's fans have talked about when it comes to the A's in Oakland.
Yeah.
You want us to come support a squad that you almost are tanking. Feels like you're tanking for this team not to be good. And I don't say that with this ball club because they got some good young talent. And I think a lot of the players that's on this team are building blocks for the A's moving forward. It is difficult when you come off the sweep to the Giants, and I want to make sure I got this in there. Someone from the 916 Jay, it's hard to hear all this talk about the A's when there are thick bristles of a broom between them and the Giants. And you're absolutely right.
The thick bristles
the thick
of a
bristles,
broom.
absolutely. Not that Dollar Tree joint. Those you wouldn't have got that from Ace Hardware.
Yeah. Yes.
So I can't say right, top of the line push broom. I understand. I get it, Giants fans. You guys have taken advantage of the A's this past weekend in many different ways. And I can't say anything. You guys beat the A's fair and square. Let me spin something back to you, Whitey.
Yeah.
And it may just be me as an A's fan. It may just be me as a Sacramento, the commissioner of Sacramento. It may just be me as someone who's just absolutely tired of the conversation. This has nothing to do with you, and that's why I'm asking you this question. It's not you. It's a lot of the media, and for good reason, because it's the top story or at least one of the top stories when it comes to the A's and the ball club. Are we almost done with checking out the attendance every night with this?
I'm not, and I understand why you feel that way. I know Alan has said that. To me, it's an interesting story. I want to see how many people are there. And again, it's not because I'm trying to, I guess I'm hoping in a way it doesn't work, not because of Sacramento, but because I don't like the way baseball has kind of thrust this upon Sacramento. I'm proud of A's fans when they don't sell out the games. I'm happy for fans who go and have a good time, as I have. So we'll see how people feel about it. To me, I'm very interested to know how they draw this week. What does it matter? I don't know, but I'm interested to see if people are just like, I just don't care. I think that's interesting to me. The other thing, I think there's an opportunity here for the baseball team because the Angels I think they're still behind the A's in the standings. So, you've had this tough stretch here where you're playing Seattle and the Yankees and the Dodgers and the Giants. Now you got a team you could beat up on a little bit if you play halfway decently.
Yeah.
The Angels, 4 games. And then the Phillies come in.
And the Phillies, right. I believe the A's, and they've done it so far this year, they've beat up on bad teams. They've definitely taken advantage of teams that aren't doing very well on the field. When it comes to the attendance situation, I don't know if it's, and that's why I asked you, because I feel like I'm split in 3, 4, 5 different ways in the form of I am a detoured A's fan.
Mm-hmm.
I am a detoured Sacramento fan, and I laid it out that way. And so attendance hasn't been at the top of my list, but it definitely has been at the top of a lot of Sacramento media, national media, and semi-local, even the Bay Area media. That's been something to the point where it's almost like an attendance check every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And you see it more than I think you see it anywhere else throughout the league. And I could be wrong because I'm not checking every beat reporter's account as far as some of these teams, but I just feel like a lot of what is going on at the turnstiles has pushed what is going on in the field and other areas with the team. People seem to don't care for. And I just find it super interesting because I could care less if 7,000, 10,000, 12,000, 14,000 is there. But that's me. And so that's why I want to ask you, is it something that you're still intertwined into?
And I'll tell you why. Because I feel like baseball and the A's came in here with like, look at these suckers. This is a minor league park. We'll call it intimate. And we're not even going to stay here for long, maybe 3 years. We're not going to call them Sacramento. Watch this, they'll eat it up. Then they go out there and play, and there's like 6,500 people there. I feel like, you see, we're not so stupid. That's
just like, look at you.
Yeah. You didn't fool us. That said, I know they had big crowds for the Yankee games, and fans had a good time.
Sure.
And I've said this a million times. I went to 2 games. I had a good time. But that's why, to me, I'm still interested to see how our fans in our area, to what extent are they embracing this? That's what I.
At what point? Let me take it a step further, and you don't have this answer. I'm just spitballing here. Do you believe there's a point in time within this 3-year window, alleged 3-year window that the A's will be here, that attendance won't matter?
Won't
be the lead story.
If it rises to a point where it's near what people expected and stays there, then I don't think there's a story. As long as it's below what the A's anticipated, to me, that's a story.
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
It's very fascinating.
I understand your point. I understand from a lot of people say, again, with the attendance, but to me, it's something I'm definitely keeping an eye on.
Gotta know.
I don't.
You check it every night?
Yeah.
Really?
Pretty much.
Wow.
I don't know if they're going to stay here 3 years.
Yeah. I think they're going to stay here 33 years.
Oh, okay. That's even better.
I might be wishing it open and all that. Yeah.
Well, there's no such thing, as we said, as false hope. When we come back, tell you who the Kings had to beat out in the Valanciunas Derby. We know because he told us. Next, Sacktown Sports.
At Power Business Technology, we're not another big box corporation. We're your neighbors, locally owned and operated. We know what businesses like yours need, from reliable printers to high-performance copiers. We'll help you find the right solution with personal service you just can't get online. Need setup or support? We're just down the road and always happy to help. Power Business Technology, family hometown service with big-time solutions. Contact us today for all your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
There's a lot of hot weather coming. Is your HVAC system, your air conditioner unit, is it ready for the hot air and the hot weather? If it's not, where do you turn? Let me recommend for you leesair.com. That's Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating at leesair.com. They came out this winter when our heater broke down, and they took care of us. So it comes down to, as I always tell you, why should I choose Lee's with so many choices out there? Lee's offers a 100% satisfaction guarantee. They get 4.8 stars on Google. They've won awards with their service. That's how good it's been. Award-winning service. They've spent more than 40 years serving the Valley's HVAC, heating, and plumbing needs. You can trust Lee's with installation and repair of your AC, furnace, water heater. They did a great job. They had to cut down some trees in front of our house to get our unit in there. They had to go under the house, move some wires around. They did a magnificent job. Find out more at leesair.com. Check out their mission statement, which is all about serving customers and community. Check on their $99 HVAC tune-up service. You want to let Lee's take care of you the way they took care of me, treating us like family while setting us up with an HVAC system that has improved our quality of life. Is your system ready for the hot weather? Let Lee's make sure that it is. Lee's Air, Plumbing, and Heating, license number 635-355.
Thunder, feel the thunder.
It's the energy all around you.
Lightning and the thunder.
The thrill of the moments to come. The flash of lights. The rush of pure exhilaration.
Thunder.
The roar of the crowd. See it, hear it, feel it.
Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder.
Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Feel the thunder.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Granger who does the same. Granger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. That does give us certain advantages, for example, in focus and resources. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. If you're a guy facing divorce, remember, Cordell & Cordell, a partner you can count on.
500 Capitol Mall, Sacramento. CordellCordell.com.
Alan Stiles here with your Sacktown Sports Injury Update, brought to you by Downtown LA Law Group. TJ McFarland, out with that left adductor strain, left game action after covering first base on a ground out. Manager Mark Kotze said an MRI revealed a grade 2 strain and that there will be some time missed. JT Ginn, out with that right elbow inflammation, will join the A's in San Francisco. Next step is a bullpen, and if all goes well, he will return to the rotation. This injury report was brought to you by Downtown LA Law Group. Hey, I'm Alan Stiles. Have an injury? Call Downtown. Downtown LA Law Group, an injury law firm, has many happy clients in Sacramento and the surrounding areas who have called Downtown. Get paid for your injuries from slip and falls or auto accidents. One of their most recent settlements was $1.5 million for a motorcycle accident. Have you had an auto accident? Call Downtown. Text injury help to 40222. That's injury help to 40222 and visit them at calldowntown.com.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, Sacktown Sports 1140.
Live and local, it's the Drive Guys. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Going to tell you who the Kings had to beat out to get Jonas Valanciunas' services in just a moment here. First, some people reacting, which we appreciate very much, in the chateau to our conversations, plural, we've had today about the A's. Steven Torres is Giants fan here. I was just born that way as a Kings and Niner fan, but as a baseball fan, I've been rooting for the A's, and I wish the best for them. I actually find myself down when they lose, and I enjoy you guys talking A's. Thank you, Steven. Just being totally transparent here, we still don't know the extent to which our audience really wants to hear A's talk. Obviously, the whole A's relocation thing is a big story. As far as the game-to-game, win-lose, I don't think it's a huge story. Again, just trying to judge by what people are interested in. So thanks for saying that. But right, Jay, I mean, I think I speak for all of us here at the station. We're not sure. Well, some of it you have to throw out there and see, what you get back. And it's uncharted territory here in Sacramento.
Yeah, we're experiencing something that we have yet to go through. And I don't think too many cities have been through. And so you're 100% right. And that's why I kind of threw the attendance question out there, because to me, and I think part of what you're saying why you're interested in it is it trickles down from the top with attendance and or baseball and how fans are reacting to the team being here. So you see it as a part of the puzzle, right?
Mm-hmm.
But taking you and removing yourself out of it, I feel like a lot of the media sees it in a different standpoint. And so I'm with Steven in the form of, I'd be interested to talk more baseball, But as you said, we really don't know. Do you care about what's on the field, or do you care about the politics and the things that are the dichotomy surrounding the team?
Yeah. And we're watching all the things, like we're watching at Emran's store. Are people in there interested in
cards,
Jacob Wilson cards? Do they care? And so it's all, kind of a work in progress. I'll tell you.
That was hot right now? Jacob Wilson hot?
I think so.
Okay.
I know that he's buying some Jacob Wilson stuff because right now it looks like there's a really good chance he's going to be the rookie of the year.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Beginning of the season, remember he said L. Butler was the guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then kind of after Butler got off to a very slow start, then it was kind of like, oh, Tyler Soderstrom might be the guy to kind of start collecting. Now maybe Jacob Wilson?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Because his rookie stuff is out.
Popping.
Coming out. Yeah.
I have to get in line for that.
Mm-hmm. But a couple of years ago when I came back to the station, I was doing a show with Chris, and I was told that, all the talk of the A's and the relocation stuff in Vegas, it did well on our website, and presumably because Sacramento fans, that kind of resonated with them. Wait, someone's trying to take our team? Because Kings fans had been through that. So I think there's always been that level of interest. Plus, the A's are well, right now they are local, but when they were still in Oakland, there's a lot of Oakland A's fans in Sacramento.
Of course.
And that probably impacts the attendance too, because I don't want the A's to leave Oakland either, even though I live in Sacramento. So we're figuring all that out, Stephen, but thank you.
Yeah, we're definitely trying to get a better grip and handle on it. And as you said, thank you for partaking in the drive, guys, and letting us know.
Mm-hmm.
We, as much as I don't want to talk about getting our butt kicked this past weekend, got to take the lumps with it.
Yeah.
As much as I dish it out and talk about them strong ass fries, I got to take the losses that come along with it.
Yeah. Didn't we have an extra inning walk-off walk, Jay?
Yeah, how does that happen? How does that even happen?
How does that happen at this level?
Come on.
At the major league level.
Yeah. It blew my mind. I saw it. I said, what?
See, now I'll tell you that, and we won't spend a lot of time on it, but if people were really interested in the comings and goings and the inner workings, we'd have been getting calls today on why did Kotze walk the guy to load the bases? Because then, so we're not, I don't know if we'll ever
deep
be
in the
that
woods there.
but you know what I mean? Yeah.
You're a traditionalist guy.
Well, if that's how we'll know fans really care about the A's. If we get to, how in the world what is Kotze doing? They got to get rid of Kotze.
I don't think you're ever going to get that anymore on the West Coast. It's not there for the West Coast. I've lived in LA for a dozen years. And as much as the Dodgers have all the love, you just don't get that.
I haven't spent a lot of time up in Seattle. I get the sense they're pretty, they got a lot of love for that team.
True.
Especially because they don't have the basketball team. I think in San Diego, the Padres have had last couple of years been pretty good. Giants fans, they got their station. They get into the inner workings of it a little bit, but it's also baseball when you have 162 games.
Right.
Then one game's forgotten just like that.
And
the next.
And we're firm believers around here beside Mr. Gleason. I don't talk baseball standings until July.
That's smart. I'll admit I got carried away because with the A's, I figure if we don't talk about the wild card now, I don't know if we're going to get a chance.
So take advantage of it while you can.
Okay, they'd be in the wild card race. So we'll see if they can clamber back into that picture. Jonas Valanciunas, meanwhile, did podcast. It was interesting because they were speaking. I believe they're speaking Lithuanian. So I didn't ask Jay to come up with any of the clips because I don't know. But we have the translations here. When the Kings ended up with Valanciunas, he said that Sacramento, of course, Sacramento was involved. They got him. Denver came up, Phoenix. Things were unclear there with Nurkic. San Antonio was also in the picture. So, yeah, there were a few teams, he said, that were interested in the services. There are a few teams where he thought he might be headed. And he said he was taking a nap before a game, I think against the Nets. He checked his phone and he had a lot of calls, including some calls from Domas. And he said, Domas is like me. I don't talk on the phone much. So I knew when he called me, that meant something. And Valanciunas says he loves playing with Domas. Quote, I'm telling you, this is Jonas Valanciunas. Domas is truly one of the most talented centers. He's the fourth most efficient NBA player. I checked it today. That's never happened. So he's like me, Jay. He's going on Basketball Reference.
Checking in box scores.
Yes. That's never happened in Lithuanian history. fourth most efficient player in the entire NBA. I think he's easily top 5, even top 3 among centers. And I have no problem substituting for him. If we're winning, if he's playing well, I've talked to the coach, to him too. Go dominate. If you need me, I'm here. If not, I'm still there. Jonas Valanciunas. I take him at his word. He seems like, everyone you talk to knows him, says he's very genuine. What a great attitude for your center to have.
Yeah, love it.
The guy who plays ahead of me is really good, and I'm here if he needs me, but otherwise, go get it.
Do your thing.
Yeah.
It just shows the type of character that Jonas walks around. And we heard that. That was one of the things. We had Antonio Daniels on, the friend of the show. Remember, he spoke so highly of JV. And was it Tony Massenberg who came on the show?
Yes.
And was like, that's my favorite Washington player. He's my guy. Pre and post, I love him. So he's got tons of accolades. Someone else from Memphis, was it Brevin Knight, who came onto the show, was like, you are going to love him. Yeah, I can't remember who.
Yeah, I'll think of it.
Somebody else came on the show for whatever reason. Okay, see, somebody that didn't even have no one, a huge tie to him was like, I love JV, love him as a player, get to have an opportunity to see him. And so I just think it shows who he is, and that's the type of caliber that you want on this squad moving forward. And that's a foundational piece, albeit, it may not be 7 years down the road, but changing the culture, changing the narrative. Those are the guys that I'm on.
Mm-hmm. So I think it's an interesting question when you look at the roster going forward and you're trying to figure out what are our assets, what are our liabilities, like in the Princess Bride. And you've got a really good situation at center. So I know that a lot of people listening, a lot of people on the station are saying, yeah, you got to just sell off your pieces and tear it down. I don't know, when you've got 2 really good centers, I'm not saying you have the best center situation in the league, but I think it's better than most teams. Is that something you just want to disregard? If you're Scott Perry, I think you'd be foolish to do that, Jay. I really do. It's tricky, but I think you've got some pieces here that you want to hang on to, at least in the short term, next couple of years.
Yeah, it's tough, Whitey. It's tough because we talked about LaRavia. I think we're both in agreement that we would love to see LaRavia back here. I think we probably agree on the form of DeMontis. Are you wanting to see DeMontis back here?
Yeah, okay. Only if he said, I don't like this, I want out. I wouldn't want to try to talk him into staying and being happy, because then you're just opening a can of worms,
Right.
But yeah.
Like, I'm all for DeMontis.
Although I would certainly look into what I could get for everybody.
Okay. That's everybody.
Not
that's
because
top to
I
bottom.
want to send them, but if someone says, we'll give you anything you want, then I'm probably going to do that.
Oh, listen, I'm picking up the phone and I'm calling about, hey, I got a Spalding basketball. What do you want for it? Mm-hmm. If I'm Scott Perry, everything's on the table. Everything and everyone.
Yeah.
I've got a jacuzzi in the back I'm willing to give up. I mean, everything, cart and all. So yeah, for sure. I got some of those. What was my guy? What was the mascot that didn't Royale that didn't fall through here for the Sacramento Kings?
Royale's costume.
Get rid of that from the bottom of the warehouse.
The weirdest thing about Royale's where it looked like they were going to bring him back.
I know they
didn't.
They knew
so
better.
Like, what?
They knew better not to bring Royale back.
But they were going to do something, because they had that video. I saw it where they had Slamson's in the room with Scott.
Right.
Yeah. And it's like, hello, Cincinnati. Yeah, I think you have something of ours. And they cut, and he's talking to the Cincinnati Reds mascot. Could you send it back? And then he's like nodding, and then they hang up, and then that's the end of it. It's like, oh, they're bringing Royale back, but they never did anything. So I don't know what they were planning.
They were sharp. They were sharp. They ran it out, and you start talking about it, and it's like, pull it back in.
They were going to bring him back when De'Aaron was here, and somebody said, nah, you can't do that. I'll bet you.
Yeah. Well,
let's have him out there when De'Aaron shoot free throws. Fans will love it. Somebody said, "Nah, that's not cool.
Can't do it."
That.
Yeah,
I'll bet you that's what
somebody's got to. Somebody's got to unearth some pictures of this Royale mascot. Guarantee it's down at the bottom of the G1C or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're around there somewhere. Yeah, those pieces are there somewhere. Someday, there's somebody going, we should bring it back, guys. I'm just going, I don't think so.
Throwback.
I don't think so.
One
Jimmy.
Game. And more than likely, if it just say 10 years down the road, Royale is going to be a big hit for one game.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to love it.
It'd be like Crazy Crab. Do you remember Crazy
Yes,
Crab?
yes.
The anti-mascot?
Right.
We'll come right back with a look at how the Nuggets are not going to the Western Conference Finals, but guess who is? The coach that they fired. Next on Sacktown Sports.
Visit SacktownSports.com and join the Sacktown Sports 1140 newsletter.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-859-6688. 800-859-6688. 800-859-6688.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Go from daydreamer to industry leader with Amazon Business. From office supplies to IT essentials, Amazon Business provides tools that help you save costs and make insight-based decisions. Learn how to bring your visions to life at AmazonBusiness.com.
Barbecue season is back. Hey, it's Ellen. And this is Sarah Beth. And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich is that zesty barbecue sauce. I love that it was a little sweet, a little tangy, and with the mac and cheese. I feel like I tasted the brown sugar bacon first. It was the absolute best combination. Pro tip, 3 sandwiches are always better than 1.
Order the Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich and a Coca-Cola on the Chick-fil-A app for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic and a MicroGuard Select Oil Filter for just $32.99 at O'Reilly Auto Parts. In-store only. Limit supply.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
The Drive Guys, live and local, every afternoon, Monday through Friday on Sacktown Sports.
Denver Nuggets are not going to the Western Conference Finals, having been dispatched by OKC in Game 7 yesterday. But guess who is going to the Western Conference Finals? The coach that the Nuggets fired, Michael Malone. He'll be joining ESPN's coverage for the conference finals. Let's see, fired just over a month ago. Looks like he will appear on NBA Countdown during pregame and halftime for ESPN's coverage of the Thunder Timberwolves series, appearing alongside Malika, Stephen A., Kendrick Perkins. Bob Myers and Shams. Well, I don't know if he's done much TV. If he's comfortable right away, Jay, he could be really good. If he's the type that's like, I'm not afraid to pull any. I'm not afraid of insulting anyone. I'm not afraid of telling the truth. I think he could be really good at that. Obviously, if he wants to get back in the league someday, which he probably does, he's going to want to be careful about what he says. But I hope he's not.
You kind of want him to be him, right?
Yeah.
I could see Malone definitely firing off shots. He doesn't seem like he holds any punches, man. It feels like when he goes to the podium after the games, he was fiery. He would tell it like it is and how we felt. And so, yeah, I think you're right. If we get the Mike Malone that we've seen as a coach, then yeah, I think he definitely has an opportunity to be good too. Also, real quick, Draymond Green is going to be joining Chuck and Shaq and all those guys for game 1 and 2 on the TNT broadcast. So now here comes all the pundits,
Yeah.
So,
interesting, but I have to tell you, my heart leapt for a minute. I thought you were going to say, also, Draymond Green will be joining us tomorrow.
Oh,
I was like, what?
What would you ask Draymond?
I'd ask him about stomping on Domas. Ooh. You'd have to in this market. You'd have to if he was on in Sacramento.
Yeah, man. And he's going to say what he said. Like, no, I didn't stomp on him.
Yeah.
Would you follow it up?
You'd have to.
Yeah,
I
think so too. Yeah, put the feet to the fire. Draymond's type of guy. I think he gets it. He understands. He knows what it is. He's not going to run from those questions.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just kind of who he is anyway. He doesn't tend to run from any question he kind of says and tells you like it is anyway. So I think it's spot on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And hopefully Michael Malone won't run from anything. And I don't know, is this an indication, he's never done TV before, that he's thinking maybe next year he gets into this?
Take a year off from coaching? Maybe 2?
Maybe there's no jobs out there available right now that he looks at and says, yeah, I'd be good for that. Maybe he knows, like, gonna have to.
You kind of always want to take a step back and observe anyway when he get cut, especially as late as he was. I think he's looking like, I'm looking for my next stop, and I would rather choose it than it choose me.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. One of the absolute keys to being a successful NBA coach is to step into situations where you have a good team.
Truth.
And sometimes you don't have that luxury. It's like, you got to take a job.
Sure.
But if you have, the pedigree of a guy like the resume of Michael Malone, it's like, well, I don't want to just go coach some bad team somewhere. I want to coach a good team. And if there's no good teams looking for coach right now, I'll wait. I'll hang out with Bob Myers and Malika.
Collect that check this way, huh?
Uh-huh. Speaking of broadcasting, Jay, and I know I said we're going to get into, we got into Michael Malone there. What is going on between RG3 and Ryan Clark?
I have no clue.
They had a dispute on social media about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, right?
Yeah, that's where it started.
Yeah, it's just a disagreement over what's going on. And then it became obvious it was more about a disagreement between RG3 and Ryan Clark, and Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese had very little to actually do with it.
Yeah, it looked like they had a little something extra.
Yeah.
And of course they worked together for Monday Night Football, ESPN, for a season, maybe 2, if I'm not mistaken. But it sparks the conversation of just what we talked about earlier, Whitey, which is you look at the Angel Reese and the Caitlin Clark conversation. It starts in basketball, but for whatever reason, and maybe naturally, organically, we need to have these conversations. It just opens up the box to move the conversation even forward. And that's what it has done for RG3 and Ryan Clark right now. And they've went back and forth. I had even no clue, and maybe there's an app or something for this. I looked at RG3, and I haven't read all of it because, man, it is a script worth of stuff that RG3 put on his Twitter, his X. And it just keeps going and going and going. But if I have the gist of it, it's you disagree with me with Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and RG3 took it a step further and, of course, involved race and the background of Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark and the backstory. And, what the talking heads do at the major networks, the 4-letter. And they jumped on it this morning, and Ryan Clark really didn't mince his words. And then RG3 responded, and now Ryan Clark's responded.
Yeah, RG3, won't spend a lot of time on this, but just to explain what's going on for those who might not have seen it. RG3, there's a line you don't cross in life. Ryan Clark sprinted past that. Ryan Clark didn't like my take on Angel Reese hating Caitlin Clark. That's fine. Disagreement is part of the game. But instead of debating my point, he personally attacked me and my family. That shows whatever. And then I don't have the rest of it here. I'm not going to read all of it. So Ryan Clark says, bruh, you know what it is with me and you. I saved you the entire season on Monday Night Football. I urged people to let you be you, no matter how corny, how bad a teammate you were. I had your back. So, yeah. It's personal.
Yeah, it is. Whitey, I always say here, I talk about sports. I never talk about people's personal life. But those dudes have worked together, and it has definitely crossed the line where, as you said, it is personal. It's personal. RG3 said, felt some kind of way and said, hey, you brought my wife into it. Ryan Clark said, no, wife is lovely, never had anything to do with it. It's all about you, my man. And I don't think it's going to stop where it is now. It may stop here soon. But, man, all of this stemming from the conversation of Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. And that tells me, that just alerts me that this is not going anywhere. No matter if Caitlin Clark wants to go anywhere or Angel Reese wants to go anywhere. They are now two people that's going to lead this conversation even further.
The two of them have come to represent things that maybe they didn't even want to ever represent.
That may be true.
Okay, you are now a symbol of this and this and this, and you're a symbol of this and this and this. Wait, I don't want to be. I'm just playing basketball. Well, too late.
Just hooping.
Yeah,
right.
Too late.
Yeah.
That's where we are now with the whole thing.
It is. And basketball, women's basketball has taken off within the last 4 or 5 years. to another level. These type of conversations that stem from women's basketball, only as negative as it seems like it is, and you gauge it for yourself, meaning not you, but listeners. You gauge the RG3 and the Ryan Clark conversation as negative or just good old banter. I don't know. That's for you to decide. But the banter stemming from Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, the WNBA and women's basketball, they have to be looking at it and saying, smiling just a little bit, don't you think? Albeit a lot of it is race-based.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, that's kind of underlying the whole thing, which reflects a lot of what's going on in our country right now, too.
True.
Yeah.
Very
Somebody here on the text line says, let's play the game from the 916. What team in the NBA has a better 1-2 combo at the center position than the Kings? Combined starter and bench player at the center position. Obviously, we could look it up. I'm just thinking of the teams that come to mind with a 1-2 punch of any kind. The Knicks have a little bit of one.
You got Cat Mitchell.
Yeah. I shouldn't say a little bit of one. Those are two good players. OKC, although they play them together, Holmgren and Hartenstein. Other teams just have, like, Denver has a better center. They're better at the center position. They just, the one guy, DeAndre Jordan, is not as good as Valanciunas. But I don't think you have to spend a lot of time doing that before you come to the conclusion that the Kings have one of the better ones in the league.
Well, the very first thing I thought about Whitey is okay, Domas is whoever, depending on who you ask, he's a top 3 to 5 guy in the league at his position.
Mm-hmm.
Really, we all know Jokic is one. Embiid, as much as he didn't play last year, kind of forgotten, he's probably better than Domas if you ask most people. Third, Domas, Şengün. Who you kind of throwing in there? Who's your number 3 center in the league? I mean, is Cat a center?
That's a fair point. AD, is he a center?
AD.
Embiid is,
Wembanyama.
Wemby.
Yeah.
Bam
is there.
Yeah. Evan Mobley. I mean, probably Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. You're looking again, just combos.
That's probably it. If we're talking about it, it's probably that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really a lot of upside too for those boys.
Yeah.
Like Domas and JV are kind of who they are. We're pretty much over that. Evan and my boy from Hook 'em Horns, they're pretty. They have upside. We haven't seen the end of their career, and we haven't seen the end of Domas and JV. But I don't really see JV adding too many more elements to his game. He kind of is who he is. Where Evan Mobley might be continuously, on the up scale.
I'll tell you one that's very similar in a lot of ways to the Kings situation is Şengün and Steven Adams.
Yeah, and I was thinking about that, but Adams probably moving on.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know if we wanted to count Adams there.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, is he coming back? Is he not? I don't really know. So I kind of moved on from that.
Mm-hmm. Miles Turner. I think
Miles Turner back up.
You could say with Minnesota,
Gobert,
Naz Reid.
Is Reid a center? Is he a 4? Is he a 3?
4 or 5, but he's not a pure center.
Yeah. There's some conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I like Cleveland's. I like JA, and I like
that's
Mobley.
an outstanding one.
Yeah.
That I would say might be the best. But the Kings, the point is for the Kings, I think it's an asset. What do we have here on our roster? That's a good thing. So unless, like I said, unless Domas comes in and says, I don't think you guys know what you're doing. I want out. Unless he says that, I think. And Doug, Coach Christie comes in here. Coaches want to win.
Mm-hmm.
They don't look at it as like, I think maybe for a few years we just, we restock the roster.
Right.
Coaches are like, give me the best players now.
Yeah. Unless otherwise told.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure, the Kings want to do that. Unless the Kings come out and say, by their actions, if not by their words, they have to literally come out and fire sale everything, go younger, stock up picks, look like they're not trying to succeed next year.
Mm-hmm.
Then that's different.
Yeah. Ramsey says, when healthy, Joel Embiid, Andre Drummond are a potent center duo in Philadelphia. Do you think AI wrote that for him? Ramsey doesn't talk that way. They're a potent center duo. Does he?
Well,
Arizona State educated. Don't get me wrong, but
Sun
they're
Devil?
a potent center duo. proficient in rebounding and scoring.
Yeah, I like Drummond. I'm a fan of Drummond, good dude, but I don't know what else he brings to the table anymore besides, wiping the glass.
Yeah. What he brings to the table is he used to be a really good rebounder. Remember that? He used to lead the
He used to, man.
Yeah.
Index.
How the Kings' top two centers compared to other center combos around the league. That and more next with the Drive Guys. Don't go away.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by San Francisco 49ers.
I'm Dirk Fedorn in the KCRA 3 Weather Center, and clear skies and a bit of a north wind has been with us. That's going to be tapering off overnight tonight, with temperatures dropping off into the mid to low 50s by tomorrow morning, and then more sunshine and warm weather for your Tuesday. Get the latest forecasts on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
San Francisco 49ers 2025 single game tickets are now on sale. Join the faithful at Levi Stadium. Secure your seats today at 49ers.com/tickets. That's 49ers.com/tickets.
Come check out Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room with the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Plenty of well-lit parking available, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. And remember, Capital Casino has the best food, the best service, and the best action. 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com, and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Welcome to Staples.
Hi, I hear Staples prints it all.
Oh, you bet. Posters, banners.
Can you print it all for Father's Day?
Oh, of course. Photo gifts like canvas prints, photo puzzles.
Can you print it all for graduation?
Sure can. Custom cards and invites.
Can you print a huge banner with the grad's picture?
Oh, definitely.
Even an embarrassing baby picture?
Oh, those are the best kind.
I know, right?
Print it all for dads and grads at Staples. And right now, get 40% off custom cards, invites, and photo gifts. N75 exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details. Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-902-5454. 800-902-5454.
Hey everyone, it's Kyle Draper here. If you're in the market for a new car, let me tell you about my experience with Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. From the moment I walked into their state-of-the-art showroom, I knew I was making the right choice. There was no pressure from the sales staff, and if I'm being honest, I felt like a kid in a candy store. I settled on the all-electric EQS SUV, and let me tell you why. First of all, the comfort. After a long day at work, I actually look forward to being in my car. It has several different massage settings, including my favorite, hot relaxing back. Plus, the seat heating and cooling features are perfect for the hot summer or those chilly mornings. Mercedes-Benz has the reputation of making the finest cars in the world. Now it's your turn to experience what I already know. Mercedes-Benz of Stockton is the best car buying experience you'll ever have. They're just a short drive down I-5, or you can shop online anytime at mbofstockton.com. That's mbofstockton.com, and tell them Drape sent you.
Live and local, it's the Drive Guys. Watch the show on youtube.com/SacktownSports1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Do the Kings have the top center duo in the NBA? That's what we're looking at here as we try to figure out what the Kings should do. What should they hang on to? What should they get rid of and try to bring in new, fresh pieces? This is from Vaishnav Akash. Top centers for the 24-25 season. Seeing this here at MSN.com. I don't know who that is, but this is just a kind of a random, unbiased top 5 centers in the NBA this year. 1, Jokic. And by the way, that's in terms of scoring and dominance. Yeah, performance and on-court dominance. 1 is Jokic. 29-6, 12.7 rebounds, 10.2 assists. Second, they have Wemby. He only played 46 games here, but he 24.3 points a game. He averaged 11 rebounds, 3.7 assists, 1.1 steals. Third, he moved back to full-time center. Karl Anthony Towns, 24.4 points, 12.8 rebounds, 3.1 assists, 1 steal, 0.7 blocks. And then fourth, they have Domas, 19 points, 13.9 rebounds, 6 assists. The only real dip came in assists, likely due to DeMar DeRozan. And then fifth, even though he only played 19 games, they have Embiid at 23-8, 8.2 rebounds, 4.5 assists. Point is, yes, Domantas Sabonis had an excellent year. He's a top 5 center.
Oh, yeah.
And then you got to figure Valanciunas as a backup center is certainly upper echelon.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so you've got a really good center combo if you're the Kings right
Yeah,
now.
I mean, arguably the best. And I think that was what the texter said. Could they arguably be the best combination at center? Yeah, pretty close. And we're spitballing some of these other names. First of all, we start with Domantas. Domantas is a top 5 center. No matter if you have him 2, 3, 4, 5, he's a top 5 guy. I think we can all agree on that. Post that, you're looking for the upswing like Cleveland. You're looking for a high-end guy, a Jokic, and then someone who can come in and spell them here and there between as far as minutes for Drummond. Even though it didn't look that way last night, sure looked like he they need every little minute they could get from Jokic. It still got smoked, blew out. So it just depends. But I think they're definitely in an argument. They're a top 3 for me right now. I haven't heard.
Yeah, I like
Cleveland.
Yeah, I like Cleveland, Jared Allen, and Mobley. And I know they play together sometimes, I believe. But and I like the Knicks, Mitchell Robinson and Cat.
I like Mitchell Robinson, but he was hurt a lot this year. Got to see what he's bringing to the table.
Yeah, from the 916, Domas is decent at offense, a great rebounder. I don't think he really brings anything to the defensive table. Why doesn't that count? Because no one really talks about defense anymore. Domas is, you look at the numbers, he's not a bad defender. He doesn't do the things that a lot of teams like their centers to do defensively. First of all, he plays very hard on defense, which is nice. That doesn't guarantee anything. But it's just he's not that, it's one of the most overused terms, but it's rim protector. Yeah, so he's not a guy that can stand out there like Bob Sanders in the Colts Tampa 2.
Bob Sanders.
Yeah, he can't anchor your defense. So it's not that he's a bad defender. He's just not great defensively at the things that you typically like your center to do.
Right. He's not as you said, he's not a rim protector. He's not he's a paint filler though. Like you see him throughout the paint. I'm not sure if he's physical enough for certain people. As you see,
some guys are just bigger. Yeah.
6'10", 6'11", and above guy. And another thing too is he doesn't, how do I explain this with Domantas? He doesn't play with the nasty streak. He plays with a competitive streak. Like he's highly competitive.
That's a great point. I'd never heard it put that way.
You never can question that he doesn't want to be a part of the game.
Right.
But
if he gets hit in the face for the 15th time, he's probably going to go, hey, come on.
Right. Where, I think if you hit Mitchell Robinson once, it'd probably be like, hey, brother, yeah, what's up with you, young man? That type of situation. So I think a lot of times we overlook that with Domantas is he's Mr. Nice Guy in many different ways. I don't know though.
Maybe that's something that team needs. I know you and Drapes have talked about that a lot.
For sure. Oh,
yeah.
we listen.
We need dogs.
I mean, let Will speak on it for me. We need a kennel full.
Yes.
I would rather have a bunch of knuckleheads have it organically, naturally. That's who they are. And teach them to temper it down versus trying to teach a bunch of nice guys how to be a knucklehead here and there. The Kings, and I just go back to this, and I know everybody that's not on that roster no longer, if even half, if we had to sit down and really count them. But, man, we talked about Draymond, and if we had him on, we asked him a question. There's just no way, and this is just me, Whitey, and it's no disrespect to any player that's on that team. But, man, if we're on the floor and somebody remotely close stomps on your chest, I'll be the first one to tell you, Mr. Gleason, you need to bounce up, get at the person who stomped on your chest first, maybe the teammates defending him, and then after that, when we walk back over to our bench, you should be knee-deep in my tailbone for not defending you.
I really think part of that situation was the Kings were baiting Draymond Green. there was that play because Domas was hanging onto his foot, and there was a play in game 1 I remember seeing at the baseline, and Malik was on the floor, and he had hold of his foot.
Right.
So I really think that was part of their strategy was to try to get Draymond to lose his composure.
I think so too.
Yeah. So I think it was he's going to lose his composure. We have to keep ours. Maybe he gets thrown out. So I think that was part of that, but still, I'm with you. Here's an interesting question from the 209. It's to the point we're discussing here. What's up, guys? I listen to you guys. I have a great question here. If Sabonis is a great defender, I don't think any of us said he was, but if he's a great defender, why is his betting props over a half a block like plus 200? That's just insane every single game. I'll watch him every night, and he never leaves his feet or challenges a shot under the basket. It's really crazy. Yeah, he's not. That's what we said. He's not a rim protector.
No. He's a paint filler.
Mm-hmm.
His body is there. He throws it around, but he ain't slapping nobody's shot off the glass.
That's why you go back to when Mike Brown was the coach. The way the Kings protected the rim was by packing the paint.
Right.
And they protected Domas from getting in foul trouble. And that's why teams had so many open threes. And if you look at the numbers, they did a good job of protecting the painted area right by the basket. But they gave up so many open threes. But their defensive numbers overall did come down a little bit. But that's why, because you're right. Domas is not that kind of defender.
Right.
He works hard on defense, but he's not standing back there blocking shots. He's not capable of doing that.
Yeah. He's you hear this quite a bit. He's a good team defender. I'm not even sure if he even checks that box. He's good at being Domantas Sabonis. Whatever that is, however you see that, and we can lay that out for you. He's a great passer, great rebounder, can definitely see that he can shoot it. His attitude is one of the best that you possibly can have.
Mm-hmm.
I love Domantas Sabonis's attitude. Like he's the type of guy I want to play with, be around. You see that. I believe he cares. You see it. You hear it.
He sets the tone for you when, for example, in the Beam Team year, he plays most of the year with a broken thumb.
Right.
And makes third team all league.
Right. I mean, he wants to be out on the floor with his guys. Now, we all have deficiencies. Part of his deficiency is a rim protector.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Why doesn't he block shots from the 5-3-0? Why doesn't he try to block shots? Why is he not capable? What's limiting him? He's not a great jumper, and he's not very big.
Yeah, he's definitely not quick. It's crazy because he's a great defender, which lets you know he knows space, he knows inches, he knows how to carve out he's got a knack for the ball, he knows how to carve out some space. But when you really look at him, Whitey, he definitely is not a quick off the feet type of guy.
That's the other thing, quickness. Yeah. Blocking shots is a lot of quickness, recognizing what's happening and then being able
be able to react to it quickly.
Yeah, yes.
He's not that guy. So and I'm not sure you can be that guy. That might be God-given. Now, you can do
I think a lot of it is.
Yeah, you can do all the jumping out the pool, box jumping, all these different avenues that's going to allow you to get better, strengthen those muscles. But sometimes you can be at a certain level, Whitey, and that they just say you're at a 2 and somebody's at a 5. They're also working and putting in that type of time too, and that type of effort too. So you might jump up to a 4. They may jump up to a 7.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes a 4 gonna catch a 7, but more times than not, it's not, it's just not going to happen that way. So I think he's capable of doing certain things, but it just doesn't work that way for Domantas.
Right.
It's not as part of his game.
Rebounding is a big part of defense because your successful defensive possessions typically end in you getting the rebound. And he's a really good defensive rebounder, but he's just not a shot blocker, and he's not quick. He's not a rim protector. He's just, and it's not because he doesn't want to be, because he plays hard. He's just not physically capable of it. From the 916, I'd love to see Marcus Smart in a Kings uniform next year.
Me too.
Would you?
Yeah, I would.
We'll talk about that when we come back. Sacktown Sports next. Whitey here for Napoleon Grills, reminding you that when buying a new grill, every detail matters. While supplies last, you'll receive a $149 gift with purchase on every new Napoleon Prestige stainless steel grill. The kit even includes a pizza lover starter kit and much more. And now up to $79 off Napoleon Rogue models. Napoleon grills are built different, built better, built to last, with a lifetime warranty and premium steel that boasts amazing quality. Visit Green Acres Nursery today for your best selection of Napoleon grills and accessories.
Power Business Technology is proud to be a 100% independent, locally locally owned and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer since 2021. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729. Or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Memorial Day savings explode at Maida's Elk Grove Chevy. Save $12,500 off MSRP after rebates. Every new 2025 Silverado Turbo Max in stock.
And Maida Chevy has similar savings on every new Silverado. One of the largest selections of new Silverado in the Sacramento area.
$12,500 off new Silverado. Exclusively at the Maida Chevy Silverado Supercenter. Now that's big, huge. See them all at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Turning 21 or more, not available with special financing, lease, and some other offers.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
Typically, a high handicapper carries an index of 20 or more. Golf Monthly's Barry Plummer offers 4 tips if you're tired of that high handicap. First, choose the right equipment. Invest in a 5-wood, which is more forgiving than a 3-wood or a 3 hybrid. It's a much better option for getting the ball in the air. Second, play for bogey on par 5s. Break the longer holes into manageable chunks, perhaps aiming to hit the green with 4 easy swings while also navigating away from the trouble along the way. 3, leave the sand wedge in the bag for chipping. Up and down percentages are almost twice as good when chipping a 9-iron over a sand wedge, and 3.5 times better with the putter. And finally, stop leaving your putts short. A 20 handicapper leaves 55% of their missed putts short of the hole. Give yourself a chance with every attempt and don't leave another putt short. Try these simple tips and let's see whether your handicap starts to come down. And have some fun out there. That'll help too. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
Thanks for being with us. Thanks for participating. Thanks to whomever on the text line said, I'd love to see the Kings get Marcus Smart. I would not, Jay. Why would you?
Just an attitude change. I think with Coach Christie coming in, guys like Bobby Jackson coming in, I'd like to see someone who's going to be an attitude adjuster and someone that's going to be an attitude changer. I don't know I know what he has done on the floor before. I know he's had some injury-laden seasons over the last couple of seasons. I'm willing to take a flyer on it and believe that he can play, healthy for a season. But I also believe he is something that this team needs, which is an attitude adjuster. They do not have that down there, from my opinion. Mm-hmm. I don't know everybody personally down there as a ball player, but I'm telling you, man, the one thing Marcus Smart's going to do is he going to come in here and he going to ruffle up some feathers.
Yes, he
and
is.
Shake some things up. Yeah. And if nothing else.
He did that when he was here and he wasn't even playing.
Right?
Yeah.
If nothing else, with the way Coach Christie operates, the way we know Bobby J is, Coach Bobby Jackson, I should give him, not keep it as a friendship. Coach Bobby Jackson and whoever else is coming in there, I know the type of attitudes that they want to bring in there. I would love to see Marcus Smart be a part of that.
Marcus Smart is a good shooter. Marcus Smart is hard to God, as they used to say when he played for the Celtics. The reason I would not want him here is because he's a little older now. He's 30. He does have one more year in his contract, so he's expiring. But I just feel like when I look at my list of needs, I agree with you, Jay. I think it's obvious the Kings need that. I don't think anybody would disagree that they could use more of an edge. But I feel like that's so far down on my list that to bring in an older guy that would bring that, I feel like that's a luxury I can't afford. I feel like I need to be bringing more younger, skilled players with length. I don't think I'm going to be good enough this year necessarily to bring in a guy who's in to give me that toughness. And also, let's see. Well, I mean, he does play. Technically, he's a point guard.
Mm-hmm.
I do need
he's
a
a
point
starting
guard.
point guard for sure.
Yeah.
That's part of it. And then the other thing for me, why didn't I understand what you're saying? I truly believe Marcus Smart is on a show and improve me last year. For him to continue in this league and have the respect of being able to be a high caliber point guard and someone that you can believe in for, his twilight years in the NBA, I think this year he's going to have to play more games, play close to a full season, and he needs to have a good season. It's one of those things where, as they say, he's on a player a contract year. This is his year. I'm willing to take the flyer that he reverts back to who Marcus Smart is, and he brings the toughness. And that was the last thing I was going to say is he fills the void, fills the need for a bona fide point guard for me.
Yeah, his availability would concern me. In 21, he played 48 games, and he played 71. In 23, he played 61 games. In 24, he played 20, and then last year with 2 teams, Memphis and Washington, only played 34.
Yeah, it's and please, if you're looking at that, if you're going down that list, does it give you the type of injuries that caused him to miss the season?
It does not, but I'm looking that up at this time.
I know a couple of them are like broken hand, broken finger, bone things. Well, I'm always worried about, as they say, soft tissue situations, right? You never know what's going on from there. But no ACLs, minus maybe one in the beginning. Didn't he have a knee? I don't remember if it was ACL, but it was a leg injury in Boston.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was his knee. I'll have to double check. But to your point, he'll miss at least 6 weeks. This is when he got hurt.
Right.
Due to a rupture of the proximal interphalangeal joint on his right ring finger.
Right, that hand.
Yeah. So a rupture of that joint central slip in his right ring finger. I would assume that that's the thing that must hurt like what, but you can recover from.
Yeah, take the surgery and Lord willing, you bounce back. I would hope so. I really like, I guess, the intangibles that he brings to the table. I would kind of overlook a few things and give it a go. But I definitely understand, the hesitancy, Whitey. I definitely understand the fact of you're looking for, and you've been spot on with a lot of this. I mean, I'm looking for younger, longer, more athletic, and I'm taking a flyer on a few younger guys. So it's probably not up your tree, but I would like to see a veteran come here. Kind of, who he kind of reminds me of, needs a stop? Rajon Rondo.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of come over here. And Rondo led the league in assist over here. Now, albeit, they didn't make the playoffs, but I think Marcus Smart needs a change of scenery to further his career moving on. If Marcus Smart is hurt again this season, the days of him being able to collect 17, 20, 25, 30, that's out the window. He'll be looking at vet minimums from here on out because people can't trust that he can play. He's on a contract year. He's on a prove it year for me, and I'm all in on those type of things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's see. February, he's out with a right index finger injury. So yeah, he's had a lot of issues. Just I think from playing hard. He's just not timeline wise. He's not a good fit for me. But again, I'm assuming that Scott Perry's timeline will be similar to mine. I understand the argument. Bring him in. We need a dog. But to me, I just feel like there's other things I need more. I'm not close enough.
Sure.
But it depends what they decide to do and where they go this year. This year might be kind of a step back year,
Might be, as Stats Guerrero, who joined us talking about the 49ers, maybe a transition year for the Kings.
Yeah.
It might be.
Scott Perry did that when he was with the Knicks.
Right.
It's just a matter of what he sees when he comes in here and what he's able to convince everybody else and how he feels and how Coach Doug Christie feels about a step back year this year. I don't know.
Yeah. I really like Marcus just because he's the type of guy that's going to come in and automatically, soon as he hits the door, he's letting everybody know in the locker room, it's a little different this year.
Right.
And if I'm Scott Perry, that's the type of guy I want. Even if I don't say it through my action, you better pay attention.
I'll tell you what,
not half-stepping.
Wouldn't want him to be. Maybe this isn't fair because he's not as old, but I wouldn't want to bring in somebody who had that reputation, that resume, rock solid. And I wouldn't want to bring in somebody who would be the guard backcourt version of Jay Crowder, who was hurt. He was also hurt last year.
Yeah. The only difference I say is I think that we know this team has a need for point guard.
Yeah.
Where Jay Crowder was, get in there when you can type guy. And remember, they signed him when the injuries happened.
They signed him when Keegan was out.
Right.
And so a desperate move. Yeah.
I think Marcus is hurt. Right. I think Marcus is one of those things like, look, we're signing you to be a veteran presence on this team, and you're probably going to start for us.
Mm-hmm.
And I would be interested, and we might have to try to, get Scott on setting the tone being the benefactor of not having, or we hear this quite a bit, an extension of the coach on the floor, right?
Mm-hmm.
As a general manager, the coach is definitely an extension of yourself, but also who's that guy that kind of comes through the locker room and say, and it's kind of the extension of who you are too.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Scott Perry is a respectable, high relationship, high character guy. And I think that's what Marcus Smart is. And if nothing else, you got to start to change what some of the thoughts and emotions are in that locker room. And if you rinse and repeat with the Kings again, I think we're going to see some of the same things.
From the 530, think Malik could join as an attitude adjuster if they had someone like Smart to follow. Malik he's an attitude adjuster of a whole different type. He's with his mouth.
Yeah.
That's not a bad thing.
Sure.
Yeah. He plays hard, but he's not like a physical get in your face. Here's someone who's not listening. Whitey, you criticize people who say tank or rebuild. Now you're okay with a step back year? LMAO. I do not want to tank. I did not say you should not rebuild. I did not say that. I do not want to run it back. You are not listening. Thanks for listening when you do listen, but you're not paying attention to what I'm saying. I don't want old players. I don't want to tank and go young. Both Whitey. Nope, you're not listening. It's more nuanced than that. I invite you back tomorrow to listen some more.
Yeah.
I don't want to tank, Jay.
I don't think you want to.
But I don't want to run it back either.
Transition.
There is some room in between.
Is there a transitional year for Mr. Gleason?
It depends what they're going to do. I'm definitely trading tomorrow and trying to get younger.
Right.
Definitely. Yeah, but I'm not tanking. Tanking means we're trying to lose this year and probably the year after that. That's what that means.
The first or second move will dictate where you lie, right, Whitey?
Yes.
Okay.
But I do think they need to reset. I have said that, but I don't want to tank. I don't think that's prudent. Okay? Would you take a flyer on Chris Paul from the 530, Jay?
That'd be, for me, no.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Nor would I for those same reasons.
Right.
2 years ago, man, great. He could take us to the promised land. Now, he's just going to make us older. We'll be stuck on the hamster wheel.
He's not the piece
that's
missing.
Yeah. The piece that's missing is Kyle Draper. He's got the rest of the week off. He's back Monday. Jay and I are back with you tomorrow. We look forward to talking with you. We have Infinity Sports Radio next on Sacktown Sports.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for